brain, he just completely forgets about it.
I mean, it's possible.
With Kirv, do you mean?
Yeah. Sorry, did I say someone
Oh,
else?
yeah. No. Sorry, I've also got in my mind.
You were
that
ADHD brain.
He's going to talk.
Yeah.
I've also got in my mind that he was going to talk to Ezera as well regarding the
Yes,
Black
Kirv also
Scorpion.
has to talk to Ezera.
Oh, look at that! So much in common.
Oh, hello everyone, and welcome to Crabby D&D. I am here with my players, Beau.
Hello.
Ellie.
Yo.
Kirv.
Hi.
Mortar.
Hello.
And Vinny.
Hello.
We are unfortunately missing a Romulus today, but that's how it goes sometimes. He's off cooking and enjoying himself, hopefully. And yeah, look forward to having Harlan back next week. But for now, as you may be able to tell, I have a little bit of a cold, but I'm on the recovery end of it, so we will be all right, and we will stick with the session today. So
We will persevere.
we will indeed persevere. So let us begin. And apologies for any vehicles you can hear running around at this time.
Right.
Hello, and happy day to you all.
It's different.
We may be missing a few, but we'll still be going forward. So I think only a quick recap is in order. Last session, our party of adventurers, Beau, Ellie, Kirv, Mortar, Romulus, and Vinny, fought with a massive flesh abomination after progressing through the areas of Zakers in hopes of getting to Ezera's apartment and a safe place to rest. With the intense battle unfolding with 2 of the party members going down, they managed to scrape by and overcome this issue before taking the last few steps that they needed towards Ezera's apartment and safety. Now within its wonderful walls and a belly full of food thanks to the work of Romulus and Kirv, the party now has the rest of the evening to themselves in preparation before a nice sleep is in order, and then whatever the rest of Zakers has to offer them. So, you're each just sat in Ezera's apartment. The plush nature of it, to a certain degree, and fairly efficient nature of it, nice and clean and clear. The table is now being wiped down and cleaned up by Romulus as he's kind of winding everything down and sorting out the kitchen. Ezera's currently sat round the table with the rest of you otherwise having various drinks of booze, water, various juices in hand, just relaxing. So, what would people like to do?
Okay. Kirv goes over to Ezera.
Okay.
Hey, Ezera.
Yes.
So, you're a magic guy, right?
Yes, I am.
And I heard you were good with items or objects of the arcanic nature.
To a degree, yes. I'm a diviner of various matters.
Magic guy. So I... This is my weapon. And she pulls out her scythe murder, sort of very slowly almost, doesn't want to spook him, and holds it in her hands and shows it to him and says, it has a way of self-improving, and I've already done most of it, I think. And I think it's supposed to do something, but it isn't. I don't suppose you would have any ideas?
So it's a augmenting weapon?
A what now?
A weapon that...
The background. Don't use big words.
A weapon or
Don't use
object...
big words.
A weapon or object that changes and grows for the individual that uses it?
She kind of like looks herself down, like, I think I'm as tall as I used to be.
Oh my word.
Right.
I just know that my patron gave this to me.
Okay. Well, I mean, yes, if it is an augmenting weapon, I can see what criteria it might have, if any.
That sounds like what I'm looking for.
Then,
Is
sure.
there a price?
Well, the work of this would usually just cost a bit of high-quality incense, or a lot of low-quality incense, but, I mean, I have plenty in store, unless you're wanting to provide for it.
Okay, one second. I need to roll for something to see how stupid Kirv's gonna be here. She's still on disadvantage, isn't she?
Yep, she's got
Yes.
the exhaustion. Okay, so this is an intelligence check. That is a 0.
Actually, it's a 4 because of her aura.
That's only saving throws.
Oh yeah, no, you're right. You're right. You're absolutely right. So intelligence. Yeah. Okay. Basically, she's going to pull out that untuned, uncut enchantment crystal that she literally just picked up from the other room, from a box of them, and says, "I have this."
Sure.
Fuck yeah. Okay, she passes it over.
Okay, he takes it, and you kind of... He picks it up and just kind of puts it on the table for now. He's like, are you wanting me to do this now?
Unless you're busy.
So passive aggressive. You got something better to do?
I guess the better question is there anything else that people wanted to discuss while I'm here at the table? Because once I start working on divination magic, it would be... It's not necessarily that it's an issue, it's just that obviously it will break up the conversation.
I mean, I don't know. I kind of waited a bit after food was done and no one else spoke up. So I think I'm the only one who actually wants to speak to you.
I have a lot of questions, but like, I'm also trying to finish the
Beau,
prep for
well,
this.
we're all in the middle of a really intense game of Go Fish right now, so we'll finish this and then we'll talk to Ezera.
We're on the ground. There are no fish.
Well,
What?
if it helps, I do have a question that might be pretty quick to answer, because I suspect the answer will just be no.
Okay.
Why ask it?
I'm taking a punt, okay?
I've never
okay,
heard
okay,
Vinny
okay.
make that noise.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is new noise. Who dis?
It's been a long day.
I'm so sorry. Please continue. Shut up.
So, just quickly then, I don't suppose you've ever heard of the worm, or a thing called the ring of the worm?
Oh.
What's up against doing the word?
Not personally, but if it is of importance, I can potentially, again, divine this sort of stuff. I only have so much I can do in one evening, but there is still plenty that I can help with.
I have other leads, so do focus on Kirv's thing first. I figured if you knew off the top of your head, I might as well ask.
Of course.
Okay, that's my thing.
Vinny, it's your
I
turn.
will slide him. I'll basically give him my 1, 2, 3, 5 questions, but it'll be on a bit of paper. He can do later at his discretion, and I'll send it to you.
Why, don't you want to ask them?
Well, I do, but it's like we want to prioritize the thing. Okay, I want to know. Here's the questions. What do you know about Lota? This creature? Do you know anything about this? This one you could probably do without your divining, which would be what did you find out about the Runeborn going missing? Also, what's Sicania's purpose? And the last one is, do you know how to rebuild souls?
Holy shit.
Perhaps
I was gonna lead.
move.
No,
Go
I was
sit
gonna
down.
lead with what's your favorite color,
No,
but damn, you're into
it's
reconstructing
okay.
souls and shit.
You can do curve stuff. I don't mind waiting.
No, Ellie, my stuff can wait.
No, you've been making progress with that. And
Insight
it
check.
looks-
Can curve stuff wait?
Go for it. Kirv, make me
I
a
had
persuasion or
to-
deception check with disadvantage because you have a point of exhaustion.
Can curve stuff wait, or is that a lie? Insight, so 4.
Okay, so you don't have to say which you used, but do say the result.
13.
Kirv?
Sorry. 10.
10. So,
Curve stuff could definitely wait.
Like I think what I was thinking was is Curve
is Kirv
like,
willing to
kind of
wait?
like is she butthurt about like being kind of like pushed back essentially?
Okay, I'm so sorry because this is really fucking me up. So I'm rolling with disadvantage, but if I'm doing a persuasion or a
Deception
but if I
check.
roll low, then it's opposite. But
So, you're making a persuasion or deception check. You'd be making a persuasion check if Kirv believes her stuff can wait.
Mhm.
If Kirv, however, is impatient and thinks her stuff can't wait, it's a deception check. Mortar
Right.
beat your roll of a 10 with his 13,
Yes.
therefore he gets to know the answer of what you rolled for and what the truth is.
Okay.
So, does Kirv believe her stuff can wait?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Especially if she is fucking tired. But I was
Fair
thinking,
enough.
since it's a persuasion, if she's done worse on persuasion, does she like
No, it's more just...
is it being interpreted the wrong way?
No.
Because she's shit at persuading.
So persuasion
Okay.
and deception are
Sorry.
used in this instance for whether you're telling the truth or whether you're telling a lie, respectively.
I think I got it.
Okay.
Still tipsy from Friday.
Shut up.
So, Ellie, were you going to be asking all these questions? Just straight away?
Well, I mean, I didn't want to cut Curve out. I was gonna like do some other bits and pieces while they all got theirs done. It's just one of those where it was, if he needed to save resources, I'd like him to try and save them to answer them if it was necessary.
Whereas we've
I still
established
have
fuck Curve.
I still have plenty in me to be able to do a lot of divination magic and potential. It's more of the whatever people think want to be talking is, and figuring out what people want now is going to be easier so I can manage my abilities before I get too tired.
Okay, form up. Who wants questions asked so we can work out logistics?
I don't want to be asked any questions.
Answered. Who wants to ask questions?
So
Uh,
we've
Could
got...
go for Mortar, who's actively been pursuing to get questions answered.
I mean, definitely at some point, but like, you know, if Ezera needs to rest or whatever, then
It would be better I do it now before we rest, so that I can be fully recovered for tomorrow. Okay. If we're going to be venturing through the rest of Zakers and there's potentially danger ahead, I'm going to want to prepare myself, shall we say.
That makes sense. Yeah, so at some point, I'm gonna want to have some answers regarding this. I'll wave Black Scorpion.
Right.
Other than that, I'm pretty content, I think. I mean, I want to have a chat with Kirv at some point. Beau, you and I need to continue. We need to start playing cards properly, because I know that you're hiding a lot more. There are a lot more skill there than you're currently displaying in this epic game of Go Fish.
We stopped playing Go Fish ages ago.
With himself at this point.
we're on Uno. We're on Uno now.
Yeah.
It's like Mortar's just there like, when did that happen?
Have you got any threes? And everyone just hands him their threes.
Mortar's like, yes! And everyone's like, yeah, other than that, I'm good.
Okay, so we have two individuals who want their weapons looked at. We've got some questions by Ellie. Beau, Vinny, anything in particular you want?
Well, I asked...
All good.
Sorry, go
I'm all good. I'm fine. Beau's just going to keep drawing in his book and play cards.
I was about to say. you just dip.
Oh yes, you mentioned the Ring of the Worm. Is this a item you have to hand?
The ring isn't, I'm afraid, no. The entity itself I might be able to help you with, although...
Hold up.
Depending on how close up your observation techniques are, that might be dangerous.
Also, I was going to quickly nudge Vinny and just say, he said the Ring of the Worm? I don't think we told him about that. You told him about the worm. You asked him had he heard of the worm. I don't think you told him about the Ring of the Worm.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I think you were. I think you got 22 in Go Fish at that point.
Yeah.
And
and then for some
That'll be
reason,
why.
and
I
you
was on a
heard the
win
word, and you heard the word worm, and you suddenly started rolling on the floor. So
Yeah, that was it. You were doing the worm, and then
yes, that's right. That's right. That's why my tummy hurts.
Mortar has short-term memory loss confirmed.
Oh, it's so over.
I don't know if you need to be doing more crunches or fewer.
Also, immediately starts speed crunching.
Oh dear.
Oh no. So, so details on the Ring of the Worm. And anything else, or?
Well, if you're able to find answers about objects that we don't have to hand, then I guess there was a weapon called the Sword of Agony as well.
Holy shit.
I can give that a try. Its name doesn't sound particularly unique, so there might not be much to get from it, but I can try and find information on it.
Oh,
That's
quick question. Are you like a historian as well? Like, do you have like, you seem kind of learned. Do you like do history and stuff?
History less so. That was more my counterpart's specialty. I more specialized in the arts of religion and the understanding of the different deities and the powers and the flow of magic and how to tap into it.
What about like followers of certain deities? Are you kind of versed in those? Like cults or like religious organizations?
To a degree, but the information might be outdated depending on what has happened. I mean, yeah.
I'd like to pick your brain about that at
Possibility.
some point as
Possibly. Sure. I mean, do we want to have the conversation of questions now, or would you prefer I use my magic to consolidate something?
Oh, sorry, I
now?
thought you were in the middle. I thought you were in the middle of something with Ellie. Or with Vinny. I don't mind waiting. I'm currently absolutely owning Beau at Uno.
He said Uno. You can call him out for 2 extra cards.
Yeah.
Because he hasn't got because he hasn't got Uno.
What are draws 2 cards?
But so do we want to handle the questions first, or would you like me to deal with the magic side of things first? Either way,
I don't mind.
we'll handle the questions first, because I think it'll be better that we deal with the magic after, given the magic is a little bit dangerous in its own way, and I'd like to go through all the warnings without it potentially being messed up at all. So,
So, who's going first?
what was the... Someone asked a question to begin with. So, Ellie, you asked a bunch of questions in sequence. What was the first one?
The first one is, do you know about Lothar? And, like, possibly whatever happened to her? Or what she was tied up with?
As...
Or doing?
And what is Lothar? A person? A creature? A name in history?
Deity.
A deity?
Mm-hmm.
To my knowledge, that's not one that I remember. Which means it probably wasn't around during my time. Or that, or whoever this Lothar is didn't have that much influence in, well, the hand of things. It doesn't mean it's not it's impossible. It's something that I can potentially meditate on and see if there's more information out there that I can glean, now that I know what I'm searching for, but we'll have to see.
Okay. Then, in regards to questions, I mean, the creature, you're not going to know. You're probably going to have to use magic for that.
No, I
Okay.
can't say.
The information you have got, did you ever find out what was going on with the Runeborn? You said you were researching them. And their
Yes.
disappearance.
Not necessarily researching. So I produced a prophecy, by the words of "Silent are the halls of magic, glyphs and sigils no longer announced, ashes smolder over the endless fires." My investigator was looking into the matters. I drew some conclusions and I believed I knew where to go, so I went to Rel, and I stayed with the people there.
What was that last line?
Ashes smolder over the endless fires.
That's probably nothing.
So I stayed with the people in Rel, and while I was there overnight, the people were attacked by these strange creatures. Multiple wings, kind of these glowing swords. They looked like holy creatures, but they were just killing civilians. It was... I did what I could, and it wasn't until the Inquisitors arrived that they kind of fought off what was left of them before arresting me. I was then taken in by the Inquisitors and, well, put in my cell until such time as the court date would happen, or the trial. I don't know the specifics. The Runeborn, I believed, were tied to the, was to do with the magic in some form, the glyphs and sigils. But the halls of magic, I believed, were tied to Rel. It's a... If the place still exists, it's probably a ruin now. It's slightly to the northeast of Zakers, as part of the vast hilly expanse.
Northeast. See.
If someone could roll me a d20 for Romulus, please. What was the result?
Did anyone do it?
But-
Dan rolled, but I don't know if he was doing it for.
He's muted. So...
Sorry, I muted myself. 16.
Oh, he rolled a 16? Okay, so that's a total of 17 on his history. As Romulus goes, I know that place. My sister Morrigan comes from there. We otherwise met with the Plague Knights. Vinny, you remember? And Ellie?
Hmm.
They were working with her. They operate out of Rel.
Are you a good kind of sister or a murdery kind of sister?
Both.
Right.
Does that mean she murders for good, or she's a good murderer?
Yes.
Ah, very good.
Okay, I'm learning a lot.
And he goes back to cleaning dishes. So, yeah, I went to the citadel there, warned the guards and those in charge. I was taken seriously to a certain extent, but ultimately a lot of people still died.
Hmm. Okay.
It wouldn't surprise me if somewhere there is a report about all of this information. It's possible they'd have this information in the prophetic vaults or the somewhere near the scry tree with the various investigators' quarters there. They might have information on it. Alternatively, you may be able to find some stuff in Haley's lab, and gestures towards the door at the back of the room.
Okay. I'll give that a check out after. Then might be stuff in there that's of actual use. Okay.
Could you read that full prophecy out for me again?
Do one better. I can copy and paste into the chat.
Nice.
Exciting stuff.
Love a good
I guess-
prophecy.
I don't know if I've ever heard one before. Is it like a nursery rhyme, but for bad things?
It feels like it. Honestly, prophecies ruined my life, man.
Oh, cool. Well, that sucks.
Hmm. Okay. And I guess,
Well,
I mean,
isn't this
Cychania,
cheery?
you're probably gonna need. So Cychania, you're probably gonna need magic for, possibly, and souls. Do you know anything, or
I mean,
how to fix a soul that's broken or damaged?
that was never my area of speciality. The technicians, or potentially even the architect, might have more information on that. Souls are typically broken down into groups depending on the situation they're in, and their level of sentience. So it's possible, depending on what group this soul falls into. If it's your own in relation to the creature, or what you're now saying is a creature and its possible corruption of your body, It's possible. I mean, the
Honestly,
surgeons would
it's a
have known
roller coaster
more.
ride.
The surgeons would have known more. But it's certainly possible that from your state it is theoretically doable to replace all of your limbs. In the event that we manage to extract the creature?
That is a terrifying notion of extracting that thing. But no, it was more the it stole some souls. I got them back, but one was damaged in the process.
Oh, like, the backwards conversion of a soul coin to a person.
Wait, what?
I'm glad we were all thinking it.
Is that
That's
correct?
a thing
'Cause
that can
I
happen.
don't know if that's like me as a Jamie. I was like, is that what I'm aiming for here?
I mean, it's been hypothesized, but I don't know if it's necessarily been confirmed. Soul coins are vessels that contain a singular soul, typically a mortal sentience, which, while it's within the soul, is corrupted and used as currency. Also a way of fueling various creations where the soul is converted into direct energy or anything similar. Soul coins themselves are dangerous, and retrieving a soul from there usually ends up being in an amalgamated form. Attempts have been made to try and restore souls in that manner, but I don't know what that research came to.
Okay, I'll have to look it up. I know that the soul expended some of its energy to reseal the creature.
If it's a diminished soul, then it's possible to replace parts of it with parts of an artificial sentience. I believe that's the case with the architect. So they may be able to give you some personal information on that.
Okay, so talk to architect. Okay. That's actually really useful. Architect. Cool. Then that's all I got for questions. I think everything else needs magical.
Yeah, then... yeah. The main thing I will say is that repairing a soul isn't going to be easy. Whenever it comes to making something... Whenever it comes to making something, you always have to use something of equivalency. Magic is a universal currency when it comes to that. It forms matter from its very being and has the ability to transform into anything, including souls. For this same reason, when magic is run through a soul, an individual begins to cast spells. They can tap into magic. But if an individual taps into too much of that magic, their soul begins to become influenced by it. The wild magic we were experiencing while around Acres before fixing the wards, that's a common symptom of a overexerted soul. Diminished souls work in the opposite and lose their magical function and capacity when they are underexerted or if they're diminished. To work on that scale is a very fine line. Too much and you can corrupt and blow up a soul, turning an individual into a elemental. Go too little and you have the possibility of potentially weakening them further, turning them into something nothing more than an animate object.
Just see Ellie go very pale. It's like, oh, if I fuck this up, that's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The two ends of the spectrum are you turn the damaged soul into a hat or an elemental, if you get it wrong. So...
Hey, you've tamed elementals before. I'm sure there's got to be a way to reverse it.
I mean,
Well-
capturing what's already there is very different to making something that doesn't exist. It's like a carver can't make something out of wood unless they have the wood first.
suppose.
Okay. I'll talk to the architect. He'll probably have more understanding in regards to this.
I hope so. So, who wanted the first bit of information about their, well, about their stuff?
Mortar will gesture to Vinny, kind of like extending his arm out as if inviting him to go first.
I mean, I'm happy to. It's as long as I'm not
By all
stepping
means.
on anyone's toes.
I'll stop being so
That's all.
polite. Go for it.
Go for it.
Right, you are then. Which one would you like to start with then?
What would you prefer? Like, the Ring of the Worm, you mentioned?
That's the one I know the least about, so
Sure.
any information you could give me would be very helpful.
Of course. Yeah. Just as a general note, all of you are welcome to step into my room. That's where I will be performing the ritual itself. But I will say that no matter what happens, none of you cross the magic circle.
I'm going to be too tempted to cross it if I go in there. Actually, I was hoping, Kirv, do you mind if I can borrow you a minute, like while they're doing this? Just have a word.
Curve like immediately tenses up. It's like, sure, yep.
Do I see that as a tense in a good way or a tense in a bad way?
You want me to roll for it?
I'm just asking. You don't have to roll if not, or if you just don't want me to know, you can just say you don't know.
You don't know.
Mortar kind of knows that, but smiles anyway.
Mortar will remember this.
It's one of the only things he's going to remember for the short term.
Honestly, yeah.
Oh.
I'll go in with Vinny.
Okay. So no matter what you do, don't step across the magic circle. Once I've begun, that is. If you do, I will say this now to everybody in case anybody happens to wander into the room. If you do, it is not my fault, and it is possible that you may have irreversible changes about your person.
Oh, just more to the list. But don't worry, I don't plan on coming through.
Okay.
I understand.
Ezera,
I could grow wings. That's pretty lit.
That's not
What
what
is
it.
those legs?
That's not what it means. You know what? It's better I don't try and give you ideas on what could potentially happen, because I think that's the best way to handle this. So just know that it could kill you. And you see Ezera just kind of stands up, goes over to his door and places his hand on the wall of force, which you watch just kind of diminishes temporarily.
Mortar shudders.
He steps through into the chamber, followed by Vinny and Ellie.
Yep.
As you step through into the chamber, from kind of the nice living room, this is the first time you've been into his room. And looking at it, you can see that, unlike the rest of the chamber, this isn't as lavish as the main sitting area. You can see that the room is plain, for the most part. Just stone with a simple bed off in one corner. What looks to be a kind of a small washroom off to the other side. And what looks to be a large carved circle in the floor of the stone here. you can see that there are writings and what looks to be almost boards of some form, just kind of around the room with various writings on them, notes, and what looks to be a small bookshelf off to one side where you can see there are what looks to be these two thin bits of crystal that are currently slotted into it. As Kirv isn't there, you watch as he steps in and he places the crystal on his bedside table, or the small bookshelf rather, before going to the center and sitting down in the middle of the circle itself, before taking a few bits of incense out from within his sleeves, and just kind of begins rubbing them between his forefinger and his thumb. You said the Ring of the Worm?
The Ring of the Worm. I think that's its name.
Well,
yeah, no, that's the name. It's connected to a... I don't know if it's a creature or what. Some kind of entity called the Worm.
Right. I'll get what I can.
Okay. Yeah, it lives inside my brain, if that's helpful.
As in, like, a creature? Like Ellie's arm thing?
I don't actually know how similar it is. It's not volatile in the same way. But it has access to a bunch of my memories. When Ellie and the others went into my memories looking for them, it was there waiting for them.
I can help in two subjects on this matter, then. First things first, I'll look up information on the Ring of the Worm. Second thing, I'll let Isabel have a wander around, if that's okay, and see what she can see inside your brain.
I'm okay with that.
She reads but doesn't write in terms of memories, so you don't have to worry about anything changing, more just she'll see what she can see.
Okay. Yes, it was pretty dangerous when the others did it, but you seem to know what you're doing, so...
Of course. Okay. And you watch
Right.
as he continues to kind of finishes rubbing the incense and holds his hands up to either side before you watch as his wrists elevate as if being suspended from the ceiling. You watch as his sleeves fall down. You can see the runes that are carved all along his arms and kind of along his skin and face. You watch as they all begin to light up with this bright prismatic energy as it begins to flow through the exterior of his skin. You watch as a pulsing wave almost travels down one arm and then up the other, as you can see his head is almost flickering slightly in this manner as he's just kind of almost reacting to something as the magic is flowing through him. You watch as Isabel, off to one side, kind of slightly detaches herself, like unwinding, and then you watch as the tip of her crystal begins to go almost this kind of brighter green, like a lime green, and you watch as she begins to write on a piece of paper. You watch as kind of a few minutes pass of this just taking place before you watch as the glyphs on the surface of the paper begin to settle, forming into words. And you watch as Ezera's arms kind of slacken. And he breathes a little bit heavily and just kind of sits there before taking the piece of paper and handing it up to you. And you see that it reads the following. Silver, solid and liquid, shattered into three, a sovereign no longer.
Okay. Silver silent liquid shattered into free, a sovereign no longer.
You see Ezera is just kind of sat there waiting before you watch as his arm just begins to twitch. You watch as Isabel just almost instinctively looks towards him as Ezera looks down, and you can see that there's this light purple glow that begins to come from his arm as his arm shoots up into the air as if being pulled up and away from him. In this moment, Ellie, go ahead, as Vinny is a little bit preoccupied with kind of having been held this piece of paper. Go ahead and roll me a medicine check.
Medicine.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, suck at that, so it's all over for us, guys.
DC
-1.
DC for this is 12. So there's a chance.
Fucking hell, I did it.
16.
16.
You look at Ezera, and there is a sudden kind of wince of pain as you're watching. His shoulder is very close to being dislocated.
Ooh.
As his arm is pulled upwards, you watch as momentarily his other wrist begins to glow, and it is pulled up and away outside. And you watch as the circle below him immediately just lights up with this prismatic light. As you watch as his almost head rolls back in almost this moment of agony, before you hear the sound of popping. As you watch as both of his shoulders dislocate, and you can see that the skin on the surface of his skin is beginning to tear.
Is this normal?
Okay. He succeeded his first saving throw. You look at him and you aren't sure whether this is normal.
I mean, I'm going to look at the circle. Does it look like a circle that I would normally use, or does this look like it's more of a channeling kind of circle, drawing on something?
Channeling.
What's...
This is what you would probably consider a... this would probably... Looking at the nature of this and how you understand, like, the arcane, the circle's purpose, by the looks of it, seems to be controlling. It's preventing magic from sticking around. It is a magic go in, magic go out, so that he's not absorbing it. Like running your hands through a river, sort of thing, and then pulling your hand back dry.
So he's drawing in it, and then... So he's drawing in energy, and then essentially flushing it after he's finished.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it safe to say, I could probably put two and two together, is he drawing off of the ley line for this?
Yes.
Fucking hell. Cool.
You watch as there's another moment as you begin to see sections of his skin begin to darken with kind of these thick layers of bruising, before you hear the sound of clicking and popping, and you're watching as his arm is twisting in an unnatural fashion. You're watching the skin just begin to tear where it twists, and you hear the sound of bone grinding against bone as it seems to be shattering in this moment.
Did you say this was a success?
Yes.
What the fuck's a fail? Does it just implode? It becomes a singularity.
Vinny at this point has dropped the paper and is kind of circling, staying around outside of the circle, but
yeah,
sort of wandering around, one hand on the hilt of his sword, and sort of wraps a knuckle against his head. I swear to God, if this is something you're doing.
Oh, I see. Okay, I see what you're referring to. You watch as there's a moment, and you watch as his hands drop to either side of him as he begins to breathe heavily, almost staggered. You watch as kind of just blood is beginning to pool off of the edges of his arms as you watch as Isabel just kind of gently floats close to him, and the circle dulls. Ezera is on 1 hit point. He succeeded the saves that he needed to.
Okay. So
That's new.
Oh no.
A lot of things have changed since I last did that.
Okay, so that wasn't normal then.
No.
Okay, good.
And before you ask, no, that wasn't whatever the thing is that you may have been referring to. Unless somehow it's related to the core of all magic.
Cause apples. I mean, it's a worm. I don't. Sorry, no, this isn't really the time.
Probably
I
not,
don't
then.
think so. I think it's powerful. I don't think it's that powerful.
I'll need to think on that. It shouldn't happen again from what I was told. Do either of you recognize a name of Alarandra?
do I?
Go ahead and roll
I'm
me a religion
certain
check.
I recognize it.
A religion check.
Yeah.
May I also?
Yeah, go for it. You as players may recognize this from campaign 1.
Yeah.
Yes.
Would this have been in a book that I've read before?
Well, quite possibly, given you're quite learned in this topic.
Oh, nat 20.
Well, it's not in a book that Vinny has read before.
No. For Vinny,
That's
your
29.
exposure to the religious side of things is a bit more here or there. You're not entirely certain. You recognize the name, something that people have used in swearing or expletives in the past, but outside of that, not really. Meanwhile, Ellie, you have heard this name written several times, in fact, throughout various history books and tomes and anything else. Alarandra is the also known as Alarandra, Great Weaver of Fate, is a single deity that rules and works over the great tapestry that makes up all past, present, and future. With that natural 20, she is also the one who is in control of the ley lines.
Oh. So she just charged a toll, and that is life energy.
Not quite. You see from Ezera's expression, he probably just had a very real face-to-face discussion with a deity and came out of it alive.
Huh.
I'll say with the natural 20, you know that Alarandra didn't come about until the age of Ascension, so she wasn't there when Ezera was using his magic prior.
Oh. Okay.
Oh man.
Yeah. So. You spoke to her?
Yes, she didn't seem best pleased that I was about. Said that there weren't any more of us that were poking our noses around as deeply as I did. You see he kind of just clutches his arm as you watch as it almost slowly begins to twist back into place.
All of my healing spells are explosive. I don't imagine that's going to work too well.
If they heal, I'm sure it'll be fine.
Okay.
Okay, then in that case...
I mean, Romulus is Romulus's food was good, but I'm not sure it's fix a shattered arm good. No,
Okay.
no offense to him.
All right, then I will. Is it okay to cast it while you're in that circle?
Yes, it'll be fine.
Okay. I will cast Crystal Lotus and overlap it with a heal rune.
Okay, go ahead and roll the healing.
5d10, and this will be halved because it's healing. Green ones, right?
Yep. 27
Okay, so
halved to 30. Okay. As the crystal lotus begins to form on his arm, which you could, with the shattered arm, you watch as bits of the flesh kind of twist back into place. You hear the kind of the popping and almost the re-knitting of bone as bits of it begin to almost merge and fuel back together. Go ahead and roll me wild magic as well.
Oh yeah, I used a rune with this as well, so.
Yep, that's fine.
It's 4th level with a rune.
You're fine.
Oh, well, good.
Yeah, you're fine. As this happens, you watch as kind of the crystals begin to almost crumble away, kind of piece by piece, and you can see that the outside of his arm is bruised, where there's been internal bleeding from the twisting of his arm and shattered femur, but he's otherwise okay.
Big man Ezera.
How big is his circle?
Oh, femur's thigh bone. I don't know which one is the arm bone. Shattered wrist, whatever.
Okay, how big is his circle?
You see that it is large enough to encompass a large creature.
Okay, so a 20-foot radius spear would also heal
Stop
me.
giggling,
then.
you child.
How big's his circle? Oh, enough for a large creature.
A 20-foot
Large
radius.
circle the size of a small circle.
The Crystal Lotus would incorporate you and Vinny as well.
Oh,
Ellie,
Vinny,
you shouldn't be asking about
13
that.
points a hit. Well, 13 points of health. There you go.
Oh, thank you.
I'm the gift that keeps giving, apparently. Okay, cool. Okay, and did she tell you to... So, and this was a one-off
She
thing?
She said that she'll have to think on the terms of our agreement, but I said I've got more to look into and that I didn't know I was trespassing. So I guess she'll be having a conversation with me at some point soon about that, but for now I should be okay to keep going.
Okay.
Okay, that's good. I'd hate to think you wasted your one shot on me.
I mean, he gestures. You watch as he outstretches his arm and then immediately regrets it, as he goes to gesture at the piece of paper you have. It worked.
That it did. I'm sure this prophecy would be very meaningful to me if I remembered any of what we did.
Well,
At least now I know what we're looking for.
That's part 2. Isabel, if you're up for it. Then you watch as Isabel nods before you watch as she just gently touches Ezera on the forehead, and you watch as kind of bits of the darkened patches of flesh begin to fade as he is going to give himself a little bit of healing. But she can't use up all of her charges on that, because otherwise she can't help Vinny. So it's just 5 health. Okay.
And just to be sure, you have a way of keeping an eye on her while she's working.
Yes. I do indeed.
Okay.
I have a fairly strong mental fortitude, and she's more immovable than I am.
Just heads up, this creature hits real hard. If you need to pull her out, do it quick.
Will do. And he reaches out a hand, and you watch as Isabel kind of reaches towards your forehead and is going to try and gently touch it if you allow it.
When I see that that's what she is doing, I will sort of offer my head forward a little.
Okay. As she casts the
Good luck.
spell... Vinny, you feel this sudden rush of something, and then the world around you begins to go dark. As you feel yourself almost floating, you look around and see these tall windows in place. You can see what look to be images reflecting through it. Not images, memories. You look up and around and you're inside your own head. You see what looks to be this large kind of crystalline chain just flowing past you at the pace that would be a large creature just moving through the area before looking back towards you, before you hear, "Come on."
Oh, certainly. How?
Will your movement and you'll move.
Okay. Vinny initially starts doing like breaststroke motions, but
Doesn't get as far.
after a moment seems to gain some like get up to speed and
Make some
sort of
progress.
settles into a more natural, like gliding pose. Okay. I mean, it's my head. I guess it makes sense I can move around in here.
As you begin to move around, you watch as Isabel kind of blows towards one of these kind of glassy windows and seems to stop and look in. As you kind of stop and look in, what memory does Vinny see himself watching from the most recent future?
From the most recent future.
Or recent, sorry, from the most recent events. Sorry, not recent future.
Okay.
He becomes God.
Kinda.
I mean, the most striking event to Vinny of the last couple of days would have been receiving Songwriter. Of going into that looking for something powerful and not quite realizing until it was finished just how much potential and sort of responsibility there was to it.
Okay. You look back on the memory of the hammer strokes falling on the blade as it is being forged, the glow of the metal, the striking of the automaton and Romulus as they are preparing and making the weapon what it is. As it began to be forged into its design, the glyph work and the very careful chisel work of the strikers making ever so gentle strikes with smaller hammers, the glyphs being formed and carved by this masked figure. You have no idea who they are. You stand and kind of take a glance in this memory at the individuals to your side, the ambassador of one of the particular dwarven kingdoms, and you watch with this kind of mesmeric moment takes place, and Songwriter is handed to you. And you feel it for the first time, the lightness, the agileness, the nature of it. And as this memory unfolds, you feel a weight on your side. And as you kind of put your hand down, you feel Songwriter in your mind with you now, in this moment.
right. I'll look down out of my memory and towards my hand holding the sword. Yeah, I guess we're in this together now.
I suppose so.
So
Oh, sorry.
we can just see anything here then.
Yes, any of your memories we can revisit, we can relook at. You said that there was a presence. I'm feeling there's something not far. And you watch as Isabel almost begins to look up, and there's these channels of almost this light blue energy that shoot along in rings before they seemingly hit almost an endless expanse of something.
Okay, we should be quick then.
Understood.
I'll start with the same thing I showed to the others, since it is also the time I heard the ring mentioned by name. I'm going to make an effort to remember the scene around the campfire.
Okay. As you do, you feel almost this pop of energy, the crackling of the fire in the background, the ambience of the hum of the night, followed by the muffled shouting of individuals arguing in this moment, as you watch as almost this reddish light, this ring, shoots off in a direction. As you follow it with Isabel in that moment, you watch as it hits something and almost disappears, almost phasing, almost blurring and fizzling as it heads into something. And as you reach the edge of it, you see a reflection of you in what looks to be almost like this mirror substance. This is it. Interesting.
Does this mean anything to you?
To a degree. Most individuals would call this a curse, traditionally. A piece of magical influence that would be tied to something. I can show... Ezera is currently seeing what I'm seeing. He understands the situation at hand and what's taking place. At this very time, he might be taking notes on the matter. As we cut back to Ezera and Ellie, Ezera is quickly just kind of saying to Ellie, "Pass me my notebook. Pass me my notebook." And you rush over to one portion of the room.
Give him a notebook.
Scramble around looking for his notebook. Make me a investigation check. DC for this isn't high,
Good lord.
but there is a chance that a 1 gets rolled. Nope, you're fine.
Like, I'll give him that. I'll just say as I give him the notebook, while she's in there, there's a barrier. We pushed through it.
Then you see that he's kind of taking notes on something and goes, "That's what they're currently looking at now."
Oh, okay. Good luck. The creature's in there.
Understood.
It's guarding memories. Just step back.
As Isabel just kind of nods. Shall we head in?
Let's do it.
Okay. As you push through the mirror-like substance into the expanse beyond, you see that same ring of kind of this orangish energy shooting off, and you watch as it travels up into what looks to be almost a crackled web of almost these networks, these for lack of a better term, nerves, as they are shooting up into almost like this tree-like pattern. You can see various windows about this, each of them connected to something, and as it shoots up, you watch as it connects with one of the windows, and the window begins to play, almost as if transmitting it, and you can hear those sounds again, the sound of the crackling of fire, the sound of the light wind, the smell of the surroundings, the shouting that's taking place between Cassius and yourself, between Marla, and the observations that were being made by Numbers and Carvern as they were standing off to one side. You hear the sounds of it unfolding. And as you're looking up in this moment, go ahead and make me a perception check.
Plus 5, 22.
22. Okay. As you're looking up and around, you feel almost this slight tingle of something on the back of your neck, almost like hairs standing on end, as if you're aware of something but you aren't quite sure what.
Okay, I think that's it.
That's it?
Sorry, the thing. There's something here. Yeah, we should be quick. What's Well, what should we do then? Should I try to focus on a memory?
Try to. Try to focus on something you don't know. It's difficult when you say it out loud, but something that you would commonly have done that you don't know you did. Like, for example, when you're a child, you would think about walking, but you wouldn't, and it would be a matter of you'd have to put the effort into it. But when you grew older, you'd be able to do it without thinking. You just put one foot in front of the other. Same with breathing, same with anything. Think about something that you haven't had to think about for a long time, as if forcing your memory to remember. If you wish to attempt this, go ahead and make me an investigation check for me, please. With disadvantage, unless you have any specific things you wish to try and focus on that may have happened that you don't know for certain.
Things that may have happened. The only thing I can think is, although I don't remember doing it, at one point prior to my normal memories resuming, we were in a pretty intense fight. I have whatever memory or echo or copy or whatever of Songwriter here with me. So what I would like to do is try to focus on my memories of sort of the very basics of swordplay, the grips, the basic footwork, processes I had to learn from scratch once upon a time.
Okay. Go ahead and make me an investigation check.
Okay. Is that with disadvantage?
Just a regular roll, as this is a valid
Okay.
application to a memory you don't know is there. That's a very good roll.
Investigation is the one intelligence score I'm kind of good at, so that is a 26.
Okay. In this moment, as you begin to focus on something, you don't know what, you watch as this almost red, almost pulse travels in from the other side, and although you don't know what the memory is, you watch as it travels up into the webbed network and hits one of these glassy windows or mirrors. As Isabel and yourself both look up, and Isabel goes, "We need to be quick," and swims
Let's
upwards.
go then.
As you reach the window, you watch almost in horror as you look at what was the courtyard of this mansion, the one that you remember so well. You see a young blue dragon. Its brilliant scales in this moment, what looks to be a set of large shackles wrapped around its neck, as it is currently kind of on what looks to be this leash of some form, as it rushes forward and takes a swing towards you and Marla in this moment. Marla dodging out of the way, you rolling backwards as you hear a shout from Cassius behind you. You spare a glance to watch as Marla throws something towards him. As it flies through the air, you watch as he catches it, taking it and passing it to a figure next to him. And you watch as a few other figures begin to arrive from around you, individuals in silver robes. You watch as they hold daggers, a few of them casting spells, flinging these kind of balls of metal towards the draconic individual, as house guards begin to rush out of the mansion itself, almost to assist the dragon. There's a moment where you're going on the defensive, taking these defensive flourishes, these otherwise postures of protection for both yourself and for Marla. As you're taking these swings, the house guards rushing forward, they begin to take swipes at you. You swiping back, slicing throats, stepping away and eluding one step after another. The expressions of your flourishes painting a picture and symphony of battle. As these sprays of red cut across the area, you watch as this large, almost silver barb of some form shoots through the neck of the dragon, up through what looks to be its jawline and out through one of its eyes. As it almost, in this moment, is contorted in some form. Its body falling limp as it begins to gargle up blood, the silver barb pulling itself free and out, and you watch as another figure steps forward and seems to catch whatever this spear or barb is and holds it to one side before nodding to Cassius and the hooded figure behind. It's at that moment a shout is made. "Be done with the rest. We're finished here." And as that call is made and a wave of the hand is made in that moment, you see a hand with a ring on the middle finger of bright silver, what looks to be in the shape of a worm. And as the hand is waved, you watch as there is a glimmer between Number's eyes, between Marla, between Carver, between yours. And in that moment, you watch as Marla just kind of shakes her head, seemingly shrugging off the effect, as does Carvern, before you watch as Numbers rushes towards Marla with a dagger and attempting to make the strike. Cassius stepping up and doing the same, holding a longsword, which you are very familiar with. As Marla attempts to defend herself, you watch as she blocks the strike from the dagger from Numbers, but Cassius nails the blade straight through her back and otherwise plunges her into the ground with the blade in her in that moment. You watch as Carvern turns and shouts, taking a swing at Cassius with her maul, as you in that moment begin to almost shake under the effect of this. A number of these silver-robed individuals rush towards you. You take swings and strikes one after another before you almost begin to feel moments are separating from one another, almost as if there's chunks which you can't remember, but you watch as they happen. Moments where the edges of your vision become this bright silvery glow, and you step forward and you strike house guards down, standing in step with these silver-robed individuals. As Carvern strikes at Cassius, attempting to bring him down, as he kind of backs away from the longsword in this moment, Numbers steps forward and goes for a strike before you watch as Carvern just pushes him back. He begins to blink and rub at his eyes, and a cultist slides a dagger straight across his throat, pushing him to the ground. As the silver-robed individuals begin to attack you and Carvern taking blow after blow, but striking against them and running in this moment as she flees the area. You watch as the individuals with the one with the large silver barb and the one with the ring stand there and almost watch as this plays out before they stretch their hand out to one side, and you watch as this portal begins to open, as they begin to step through it and away. A spell of a vastly more powerful individual, one that you do not recognize, as they step through and away from this, leaving you to face the rest of the house guards with whatever's left of these individuals. Time flickers and passes, and as the memory returns to what you remember, pulling your scimitar from the last silver-robed individual as their body falls to the ground, and you fall to one knee in that moment, and the memories you remember resume. There's a moment as you have your hand wrapped around Songwriter, and you begin to feel almost this pulse of warmth across your palm, across your arm, as if it's responding to you, almost a comforting gesture. Before you hear in your mind, "I've been waiting for you to show your face. Your friends have been poking around." And as that happens, you see Isabel almost pulls back in that moment. "We need to run." What do you do?
For a brief moment, Vinny will simply pause and hold his sword up. I'm sorry you had to see that. You were made for a more noble purpose than that. Than that sort of slaughter. I promise I'll use you properly. And I don't think the time for that is now. Sorry. And I'll sheathe Songwriter and turn. Running!
Okay. Go ahead and make me an athletics check.
Uh, 21.
21. As you begin to will yourself away, following Isabel's lead, as she begins to kind of quickly and rapidly move back towards that mirrored surface, almost directionless and difficult, but you see that she has almost this sense of where to go. As you follow her and begin to push on and through this, do you spare a glance for what might be around?
That's definitely a terrible idea, but I don't think Vinny would be able to resist.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me a perception check. So you roll a 21 on your athletics.
Mm-hmm.
So there will be 2 DCs for this. The lowest of them will lower your athletics roll to cause it to be a failure. But if you manage to get above that, even if you don't see anything, you won't fail. The base DC, the lowest DC, is 10.
Okay, perception, you said,
Yep.
right? 14.
14. You spare a glance for behind you, and as you're moving, you look around, almost trying to see where this creature might be. And as you look behind you, you see almost this shimmer of silver of something rapidly moving towards you. And in that moment, despite the moment of curiosity, your better judgment is there with you, and your instinct pushes you on as you push through the mirrored surface into the remainder of your mind, and the effect begins to disperse, your form returning back to what it was as you begin to breathe not more heavily, but with a sense of physical adrenaline that's running through you, but hasn't been physically being used up. Welcome back. That was mildly terrifying.
You found him?
Yes. We found it, and by the looks of it, a memory that Isabel was able to return to you.
I'd be lying if I said it was a happy one, but
It's information.
if we're going to beat this thing, we need information. Yes.
That's what's important. And if you wouldn't mind, I've been inspecting your... Well, I'll be inspecting your friend's weapons soon. I have the ability to do so, but would you like me to look into what yours may offer? You showed a memory of it being forged, but that was recently, unless you've known Romulus for a long time.
No, the weapon's only a few days old at this point. And yes, I did get the impression just from holding it that there's something more to be drawn out.
It's that young. It's possible it doesn't know what it wants yet, which might be a good thing. It might just mean keep doing what you're doing, and it'll grow on its own.
Okay, that sounds good. If that's the case, then I thank you for the offer, but I think I'd like to find out what the future holds in my own time.
I understand. And if you will allow it, and the offer is extended to the rest of your group, and please discuss it with them if you would like, there is a possibility I can send you all in there, with Isabel's help. It's possible you might be able to defeat this thing once and for all in the future. I know that isn't your immediate goal or timeline, but if you're feeling up and ready for it, then at some point in the future I can prepare a ritual that might help get all of you there. If
I was able to bring a weapon this time.
if it's something you'd like to do, I'm sure I can devote some time to looking into it. After we finished here in Zakis, it might be that there are old rituals around that I might be able to pick some notes from.
Of course, you've already helped me a lot. I couldn't ask more of you, but
It's my job.
if you're offering, I think I will accept. We'll have to figure out what that's going to look like first, but
I have plenty of research to do in that department, so one step at a time, I think. I'll be
at the very least, it
I'll
seems
be in
like
touch.
fighting that thing is on the table now.
That's true.
Now we just have to figure out how to win.
Also true. Well, I think I'm ready to speak to your two other friends now. But
Yes, I think I have more than enough to be getting on with.
But from what
Thank
I heard,
you.
it sounds like they've got their own issues to resolve, so I'll give them some time. And I think we'll have a quick break there, as Ezera, Vinny,
Lovely.
and Ellie all return to the main chamber for now. And we'll get back to Kirv and Mortar having their discussion, if that's all right. And then we'll get back to looking at Ellie's stuff afterwards, if that works out. And
Yeah,
Beau,
fine.
if there's anything you want to do, just let me know. Because right now,
Yeah,
you
will
are
do.
unsupervised by the party, and you are in a place of mystery with rooms that you haven't been in. They're attached to this apartment if you want to wander or if you want to do anything in particular. If you want to try and see if there's any hidden alcohol, you can.
Yeah, I think I'll definitely take a wander. I'll let everyone else do their bits, and then I'll
And then we'll
walk around.
see what Beau's doing. Alright, we'll have a quick break. We'll be back in a few moments. That means that I'm going to run some ads over on Twitch. So Twitch side, just so that you know, I'll be running some ads. That way it should be free of ads for the for a little while after. Okay, be back in a moment.
Amazing. BRB.
Big movements.
Yeah.
So you have a worm in your head. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I am the most
Yeah.
normal in the party.
Oh, definitely.
I'm sure we'll get to your stuff.
Yeah.
Says
mean,
that
yeah,
he's
the
the
only-
worm.
Not impossible. I mean, it seemed like there was continuity there. But, I mean, yeah, at this point, the only weird thing Beau has done is shoot demons. And to be honest, that's a normal thing to do with demons.
Yeah, very true.
Right, I'll be right back.
Oh, you two finally get to have your chat?
I have no idea what Mortar's going to be saying. It's still going to be very much off. Yeah, it's
In-
very
in
much
fairness-
off the cuff.
This is Mortar, so it could be anything.
Yeah.
I want to just tell you that he's decided that he wants to steal Ellie's makeup and use it for himself.
Aww. You right there?
Yeah, just I was spinning a shelving bracket on my finger and it kind of just went shooting off. I should probably stop playing with them because they're heavy. I could smash something. Probably my computer screen. Okay, there you go.
Well, I'm back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Yes, apologies. My quick question has taken up more of this session than I was expecting.
No, don't apologise. It's absolutely fine.
Anyway, it's cool learning more about each person's stories and what's going on and learning more. I'm here for it. Also, I don't know if
I am
with
back, by the way.
yeah. With Ezera's prophecy, did something about that last line with the endless fires get like brought up? Like, was that an event that happened?
I don't think we got much information on that.
Like, I don't remember. Was that when like the holy people came and killed a bunch of civilians, or was that more of one of the other things? I'll ask about it to him anyway. It's fine.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Honestly, I have no idea.
Because I'm sort of hyper focusing on like Ashes, the War of Ashes coming. The Endless Fires. That sounds like hell. So that's really kind of got me curious.
Silver shattered into 3 could be Mortar related, being.
Well, I
his
think
3
that's exclusively
personalities.
Vinny's prophecy, isn't it? Though.
I'm not. I don't know because we don't have any information on it. It's due to the ring, yeah, absolutely, but it might be more than that.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of other things that are kind of involving kind of number 3.
Mm-hmm.
It's not impossible.
I mean, silver, solid, and liquid makes me think of Quicksilver.
Was in the Marvel character?
Yeah, obviously.
Oh, okay. No, I wasn't sure if that was like a Vinny related thing.
No, but just like,
maybe-
if I got that
maybe
right,
James is
Quicksilver can be solid and a liquid.
Yeah, I mean,
it's-
we've only ever come across the liquid / solid, and that was with the Herald.
Well, that was in the temple, wasn't it? Yeah. Which is Ellie related.
No, that was where we found Cavern.
They had a big.
Oh, right. No, I was thinking because you put because some of the goop got in there.
Oh yeah, I did some into the pool. God only knows what's gone on. Maybe that was a dimensional portal, and now they're having to deal with a creature. Good luck to them.
Ellie peed in the pool.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, Quicksilver is Mercury, basically. It's the
Oh
only
shit! Yeah,
metal
that's
that
the
is-
term, isn't it? Mercury.
Yeah, it's the only metal that is liquid at room temperature.
Mm-hmm.
But technically, silver can be a liquid and a solid. And a gas if you heat it up high enough, I imagine.
In principle, yes. Although I wouldn't want to. Be
I wouldn't want to
nearby.
be around. So, as we pan away from this memory gathering exercise, our attention turns to Mortar and Kirv as Mortar asks to talk to Kirv separately.
Yeah, if there's a kind of just a quiet area, just where we can kind of chat just quietly.
There's the bathroom.
Maybe. Yeah, I feel like Mortar invites things. Mortar's kind of like, yeah, invite someone into the bathroom. Just the two of us probably isn't gonna look the best. So is there like another room? It's probably just a
his
very
arch nemesis, the shower, is in that room.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't want to get near that thing.
So, in terms of rooms that are around, this is the main area for this is the lounge / dining room / kitchen. The three are kind of they're all interconnected. There is a little bit of privacy between them, but it's not like it's if you talk loudly, Beau will be able to easily listen in if he wants to. If you talk quietly, Beau will have to make an effort to listen in.
Mortar's not massively worried about being heard to, because it's not like it's going to be something that will stay quiet for very long, I can imagine. So it's more it's something he wants to be between the two of them, but he doesn't really care if like Beau listens. So he's kind of like, yeah, like a room will be fine, and we'll just chat like normal.
Yeah, that'll be fine then.
Kirv would care.
Oh, okay.
So
Mortar's kind
But
of like,
she isn't gonna speak up right now. She's just gonna. She's almost like reminiscent of like naughty school child being taken to detention.
Uh-oh. Wonder what that's like in hell.
Oh, I'm dreading this. Okay.
You're in detention, young lady. Throws her into the river Styx. You're being too good to people.
Yeah.
We don't do
Also take
friendship
care of us.
bracelets here.
How dare you?
Here are your spiked handcuffs.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. Mortar takes Kirv aside, just kind of looking around into different areas and kind of going, oh yeah, this looks relatively isolated. He kind of steps in. He goes, so earlier I said I had an answer for you, and I do. I'm going to make this really quick because this feels like a kind of a, it's unfamiliar territory, and it seems a bit like a weird place to do this, but yeah, my answer is yes, basically. I do want to move this further, and I want to see where this goes.
Oh damn!
You
You just hear that from the other room.
Beau's just like sat at the dining table, just like having a drink, just watching Romulus put dishes away and listening to this, and just goes, "Oh damn!"
Oh, damn.
I like the idea that Beau's like, "Oh damn," and Romulus is like, "Oh fuck."
Yeah, he's just playing solitaire by himself at the moment.
And then Mortar just kind of he like built this moment up in his head. Like he was like, okay, yeah, like this is the moment. And then like now that he said it, he's kind of like, I have no idea what to do now. So he just kind of stands there awkwardly.
I think quite soon after, Kirv is like, yeah, I mean, totally no hard feelings. Wait, you said yes?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh
Like, this
shit!
is-
I didn't prepare for it. Yes.
I didn't really figure out what was going to happen after. I just kind of was like, anything goes, and I was like, yeah, this is something that I want to pursue. I want to see where this goes. So, if you'll have me.
So is this like a one step above a winging it?
I mean, I'm kind of over winging it. I kind of, once in my life, I want to take something seriously.
And you want that to be me?
Yeah, I do.
Oh shit.
Right?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Mortar's face has never been brighter than in this moment. Like, his smile is so wide. He's like, like he can't. It's almost like he can't control his face. What his face is doing right now. He's just betraying every emotion that he's kind of experiencing. And I think he kind of. I think in that moment he kind of pulls Curving close. I think. Kind of hand on her kind of lower back and just kind of looks into her eyes there, and just kind of you can see just the genuine joy that's kind of on his face.
Kirv is still putting up a bit of a wall. I mean, she's like got a very small smile, but and I think still a little bit tense, like it's still sort of processing for her and what this all means.
Could I potentially roll an insight check on you? Because that will determine what Mortar does in this next kind of moment. Okay. I have a +4 to insight. Natural 20, let's go!
Okay.
For a total of
24, 29.
Okay.
Damn.
Kirv, you obviously this is info about your character. You can choose not to share it if you wish, but
Absolutely.
if you think a 29 would do it, then
You do what you gotta do.
I think by this point, Mortar would have been able to recognize that with Kirv, under the anger, even under the humor sometimes, often what's propelling it is fear. And I think that is what you're picking up on Kirv right now.
I think that then, if that is what Mortar's reading, I think he's going to gently, feeling for just any kind of resistance. If there is any, then he'll stop. But he's going to pull Kirv in for a kiss.
Yeah, no resistance. She
just
doesn't give, I think, too much because I think she's worried of messing it up.
Oh, Mortar's very much the same. It's not necessarily awkward, more than it's just kind of brief, but it's definite. There's no uncertainty in it, but there is kind of a little bit of awkwardness to it, but there's no uncertainty there. Any kind of mess ups there are just due to his own inexperience. And then he kind of releases, kind of like they separate a little bit. Mortar's just beaming. He's just there like, this is crazy. Wow. And he just begins laughing, just like that, really elated, just like genuinely happy. The happiest you've probably ever seen him.
What's funny?
I never thought I'd have this. Like, this is something I thought that was out of my reach.
A fiendish girlfriend? If
Any
we're
kind
using
of
that
girlfriend.
term.
Any kind of girlfriend. Any kind of anybody.
Yeah, I get that. No, I mean
As
not
in-
about you.
as in-
Hold up,
wait a minute. I'm a bit of
she
a
still
catch,
goes-
if I do say
she
so
go-
myself.
she
She
goes
strikes
into
a
this
pose.
like awkward stuttering.
Mortar kind of pretend pouts.
You know what? I'm going to shut up before you change your mind.
I mean, I'm not going to, for a start. This is literally the best day of my life. And I nearly died today.
Yeah, but you do
But-
that most days.
That is true. That is true. But this time, luckily, I got away with only having a stern warning from Beau and also all of my limbs still attached. So, I mean, today so far is a crazy success so far as days go for me. And this has just blown it all out the water for me. And I'm not very good with words either. So, I mean, Mortar will pull her in again and give her another kiss.
Okay.
The two of
Okay.
them begin mashing their faces together. Beau, what are you doing at this time?
He's got his
The
binoculars
fever.
out.
Yeah, he's literally like by the door, ear against it. Nah, yeah, I'm gonna start exploring a little bit, start walking around, checking it out.
Okay. You see that the area is clean, it's nice, it's orderly, it's comfortable. There are what looks to be 2 doors which you haven't been into yet.
Yeah, I'll go into one of them then. I'll go to the closest one, I guess.
Closest one from where you were, so that would be...
Yeah.
Okay. You place your hand on that door, and as you do so, you kind of take a step in, and you watch as there is a kind of a flash of light, a little bit of buzzing, and you see what looks to be a rather large room in here, a bedroom of some form. You can see that there is a kind of a king-size twin bed, kind of to the back portion of the room. You can see a washroom off to one side, several bookcases. You can see that there are pictures around the room of what looks to be almost these very thin kind of crystal pieces, and you can see that on the surface of them seem to be almost these lightly animate illusions of some form. You can see of what looks to be almost like GIFs or YIFs or GIFs, whatever you want to call them on the internet.
Yeah.
Of what looks to be almost this very short played illusion of kind of people smiling and almost standing in preparation for a picture, as they just kind of lightly moving. You can see that there are 2 individuals, one of whom you recognize very cleanly as Ezera. The other of whom you recognize is a female individual of a more of a Orcan look to them, with what looks to be kind of 2 relatively nice and clean tusks from the lower lip. You can see that they have what looks to be a single kind of long braid of hair down the back of their head, and they're wearing what looks to be these robes, and on either side of them look to be these chains. One is Isabel, and another is one that you do not recognize, of what looks to be this almost flower-shaped head of this bright orange hue, with a series, with the same kind of series of chains, more akin to the plate shapes of Sicania. As you kind of look up at them, you can see that this Orcan individual just kind of has their arm around Ezera and kind of just holding them in for a bit of a hug. And you can see there's a vase with what looks to be flowers that are almost frozen in time, but just kind of gently flow from side to side as you walk past them. You can see there's a wardrobe, what looks to be various kind of chests and lock boxes around the room. Seems to be just someone's bedroom.
A fancy ass bedroom, though. Yeah, I won't go digging around. I don't want to be too horrible. Okay, I'll take another quick look at the kind of like the animate picture, I guess you call it. Try and kind of like capture the face of the other person, and then I'll head to the other room.
Okay. Heading out of one room and into the other. You open the door there, and it leads into what looks to be a office-like space. You can see what looks to be a desk to one side, a few more bookshelves around here, what looks to be a overhanging light over the study or the desk itself, and what looks to be almost these boards around the room that have what look to be writing and working on them as it is in various languages which you cannot read, almost as if they are written, from what you can gather, maybe quotes perhaps, or things that people have written but not necessarily all by the same person, as if people are leaving messages on the boards, that sort of thing. As you have just kind of a look around the room, you can see that on the desk is what looks to be two sheets of paper. They're kind of just sat there on the top.
I will
We have a Romulus.
take a look.
Oh, we do?
Harlan's just joined.
Oh! Romulus, you finished cleaning the dishes. Hold on, he's messaged. He's travelling. Right. He can listen in. Awesome. Romulus, you're cleaning the dishes. Kirv and Mortar are mashing their faces together in a romantic manner. Beau's currently wandering around the place and has just stumbled into the study. And Vinny so far has had a peek at his own brain, thanks to the help of Ezera and Isabel, has seen a glimpse of the worm thingy that's in his head, and managed to get some memories back and ran away, so was useful. And some questions have been answered, so all round generally good. Nobody's died. Ezera almost did. He was on 1 HP by the end of it. No, I didn't load that up. Stop it. Okay. So, you said you were going to go over and have a look at the papers?
Yeah, the 2 bits of paper on top of the desk.
Okay. You have a look at one of the notes on the piece of paper. And you can see what was written on the kind of simple piece of paper. It's very orderly and fashioned, almost like it was a letter of some form, folded at sections of it. And as you pick it up and have a quick look over, you can see what looks to be a kind of this almost burn mark of where a seal might have been, where like not a wax seal, but some form of burn or ashen mark on the surface of it. And you can see that it reads the following. To Haley, with the recent detention of Ezera Maluton, your prophet, we've invited you to the pre-hearing and trial involving his actions to intervene on a prophecy he himself divined and determined what it meant. We believe his intentions may have been sparked by local news and information of the recent disappearances surrounding the Paleo capital. Please provide any information through the corresponding channels and your discoveries despite his work. In the If the information isn't submitted by the 17th of Galagin 21-452, your project, tools, and scribing foci will be confiscated by the Zeka Inquisitorial Order. Kind regards, the Council of Seven.
I read that as the Council of Stephen.
That'd be
Not
dangerous.
That would be dangerous.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
the Council of Seven sound like an evil group. Which
Probably are. Let's
it
be
just
frank.
sounds. It just gives me that vibe.
As you
Weren't they
Well,
the
they're
guys
the
who were
Zeker's boy
judging
band.
Cat?
look at the no.
Oh.
There were distinctly more than 7 of them for the Dwarven Kingdoms. Like to work on the woodwork and roomwork for Ellie stuff. Yeah, that's fine. As you're kind of having a look over this letter, you look down and you can see that there are what looks to be a few blank pieces of paper with kind of a few of them have like little bits of writing on, but you can see one on top which has writing that's going through it, and then it stops abruptly. And as you're kind of cursory glancing over it and reading it, you see that it reads the following. The prophecy, silent are the halls of magic, glyphs and sigils no longer announced, ashes smoulder over the endless fires, was produced by Ezera Maluton on the 7th of Thorakin of 21-452 AC. His actions took him to the small village of Rel, where he stayed with the people overnight after warning them of the coming threat. With his presence, the people fought off the attack of rogue celestials as best they could, but ultimately many died before the Inquisitors, who were in pursuit of Ezera, arrived. I believed Ezera noted the prophecy and presumed that the disappearances, now believed to be the same culprit, were connected. The notes of silent are the halls of magic might have referred to the halls of Zeka or the halls of Rel, their magic lost and destroyed, while the reference to glyphs and sigils may relate to the mention of Runeborn and similar magical deviated individuals. Ezera seems to understand and have uncovered some of what was on, and it ends there. Almost as if interrupted.
Yeah. I'll put that in my pocket.
Okay.
I'll put both bits of paper in my pocket.
Okay, you put both bits of paper in your pocket. I will leave those messages in the group chat then, as you have now acquired them. And in answer to your question there, Harlan, as Romulus finishes the dishes and begins to do some woodwork, he takes out his sending stone, and you otherwise speak the message into it, and as you are waiting for a reply, it is silent and crackling. No sending can travel in or out of Zeka's.
Was Romulus trying to send a sext to the Ice King?
Yeah.
I believe so.
Hey, look, he's seen Mortar and Kirv over in one corner just kind of making out, and he's like, I'm embellishing it a bit from what actually happened, but they're making out now, and he's
The DM
like,
has
oh
decided.
man, I'm
About to say we're being railroaded into railroading. You know what I mean?
The DM ships it. That's all.
Hey, we'll take it. We'll take a DM approved.
Oh man. So yeah, Romulus otherwise goes to try and message, and the message doesn't seem to be going through. Do you reckon we're gonna have like when we get sending signal, a load of messages are going to send through at once to ruin the mood for those two? No, that's fair. Okay, so while Beau, you return to the room, Romulus, in the meantime, what have you done to ruin the mood for the two lovebirds? Actually, no. In the meantime, while you're writing that message and telling me how you're ruining the mood, if you want to. As you walk back out of the room, Beau, you look at the table and you can see that Eugene is currently playing solitaire, and you can see that Filch is currently huffing on one of your burnt out cigarettes that you've left in the ashtray.
Oh, motherfucker. I'll just light another one. So,
Okay. You light another one, and you watch as Filch kind of looks up at you, brazenly just looking at you, pulls out you see kind of from the inside of his feathers under his wing, he pulls out this almost miniature cigarette, puts it in his mouth, and then like hovers up next to you and just lights his cigarette off of yours. And just then sits down with his legs hanging off the edge of the table and just begins to smoke. Meanwhile, Eugene, the one with eyes going in a little bit opposite directions, is currently trying his best at solitaire. I'm going to roll a d20. 18! Surprisingly, Eugene's doing very well.
He has a habit of that, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Surprising
Doing
people.
well.
Yeah.
He's a great dancer as well.
Romulus just sits down at the table, having cleared everything away, begins whittling away at the staff and begins carving the runes on it as need be, while just kind of loudly singing a jovial folk song as he proceeds to do so. Mortar and Kirv, you feel a little bit like the mood is intentionally being ruined by the party dad. And you are
I think Mortar,
being chaperoned.
Mortar looks intentionally very annoyed by this. His very happy moment that he's never experienced before is being ruined by someone who he already doesn't really get on very well with. But this is kind of just cementing. It's like, oh, okay, all right, I see. And then he'll just kind of, separate from Kirv and just kind of sigh.
Wow, it's just like being at home.
To be fair, you
I'll
need
take
to
your-
catch some breath.
Mortar like peeks past Kirv and looks at Beau just standing in the doorway.
He just tilts his head with it.
How long have you been standing there?
Not too long.
Okay.
I think Curve suddenly is like, wait, who are you talking to? And looks over and sees Beau. And it's just... I think she suddenly just gets very irritated and sort of rushes out of the room. Say, oh, for fuck's sake, it is just being like at home.
Mortar just kind of looks at Beau. Kind of like, I think you can see that there is genuine, like, really? Kind of in his eyes, he's like, really? And he'll just kind of walk past you. And just kind of make his way to, I think he's going to make his way to Ezera's magic office. Just kind of going, well, I guess, back to business.
Office, if you will.
Indeed, office.
Okay. So you were going to go to Ezera's room, did you say?
As I pass Beau, can I try to swipe his coin pouch?
Go ahead and make me a sleight of hand check. And Beau, go ahead and let me know what your passive perception is.
If he fails, does he grab something else?
Well, he gets caught. We'll see what that means.
Grabbing onto his coin pouch, I see.
It's one way of telling you what's
that's
going
not
on.
Working your way around the tea.
So what was the sleight of hand there?
You know what? This is, I kind of want to use my inspiration for this.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, because I forgot to mention at the beginning of the session, because it is a player's birthday today, everybody does have inspiration.
Woo!
So if I use this
Hooray.
inspiration, will I then have that inspiration?
No. Because you're using it during the set. It would have been restored at the beginning of the session. You've just reminded me that everyone should have one.
God damn it. Okay, yeah,
I'm not that
I'll use my
kind.
inspiration. Yeah, I can do it.
At least I give inspiration.
God,
That's better.
I can't believe you
18.
tried to weaponize not remembering Rebecca's birthday.
18.
18. What is your passive perception, Beau?
I let you had some of my birthday cake today as well.
It was a very
Classic.
nice birthday cake.
I know.
Beau?
Sorry, I didn't realise I was muted. 17.
17. So just succeeds. So you manage to swipe his coin pouch. So
So what Mortar does is he kind of just like in his very annoyed kind of demeanor, he just kind of walks past Beau, kind of not intentionally shoulder checking him by any means, but just kind of brushing past him, swiping his coin purse, and then just plonks it on the side with a very loud chink kind of coins, just so he knows. And then Mortar keeps walking. He doesn't take the coin pouch. He just takes it so he can show that he can, just to show how annoyed he is.
Beau just kind of like shrugs his shoulders, like, what?
you look around, or you look back, you see the coin purse is there as Mortar puts it on the table, and you're like, oh, that's my coin purse. And then you watch as one of the two crows, you believe it's Filch, makes a beeline towards your coin purse.
Oh, I'm going for it. I'm going for that purse.
All right, go ahead and roll me an initiative roll. He's probably not going to win, but I can try.
He just wants to buy more cigarettes.
Indeed, and whiskey.
I'm
Actually,
gonna
no,
go for
actually, he
that.
doesn't need to. He doesn't need to buy more whiskey, does he?
Yeah.
Well, I meant Filch.
Filch.
Oh,
Ooh, this is
That
going to be
is
close.
a 22.
Oh, never mind. No. Filch got a 19. He was doing so well.
Yeah.
As
Filch wanted that.
As Filch runs towards the coin purse, you kind of step over, snatch it, and you just see he kind of nonchalantly just wanders around pretending to be a crow before wandering back to the ashtray.
It'll be quicker next time.
Okay. So, while this is going on, Ellie, we'll get to the questions you were going to be asking Ezera for the magical info on. Ellie? Are you there? Or are you
Might
in
be
the
muted.
kitchen right now? Making yourself a cup of tea or eating a block of cheese? Or wrestling Ahsoka off of the flat roof again? Jamie!
Maybe he's at the rice and gravy again.
You mean pasta and gravy?
Didn't you told me rice and gravy the other day?
No, that was me. I used what was left over of the gravy. I'm not just going to pour it down the sink. Besides, my rice was getting cold.
Sorry, I was dealing with cats fighting. Ahsoka bit Casper's ear and his ear's
Hey.
bleeding, so I'm like, for God's sake.
No. Oh.
So the rat bit the fat.
The rat bit the fat.
Yep. Just check. Ah.
Bloody cats. Drive me nuts. Don't get cats. It's just not worth it, man. Okay.
So what were you wanting to ask Ezera first? As Ezera kind of stands up and then remembers, yes, you wanted to look through your stuff first. Before...
Oh, you can do theirs first if you want.
And I have plenty for everyone, so just let me know what you're looking to pick up.
Okay. Well, I mean, again, any information on Lota, if there is, any information about this creature / corruption.
I'll begin with Lota.
Cool.
And you watch as he begins the ritual once again, kind of pressing his hands out to either side, the incense burning as he does so. As he lifts his hands, you watch as the magic begins to flow through them, and you watch as it almost begins to crackle and sputter around where his wrist had been shattered not all that long ago. And you watch as he's holding his, as the arms are being held up, and there's a bit of focus, and Isabel begins to write stuff down. As he finishes casting his spell, do you want me to share this with everybody else?
Sure. Unless it's incriminating, then no. We've got enough crimes.
As you read, Lady of Light lost in shadow, raised and forgotten, abandoned for her love of life, a name only, no more, no less, but remembered by billions.
Okay.
I hope that's of some use, but I can potentially take it one further to get more information on this, but it's going to become more costly. It'll take more of a expensive component.
How much?
It'll need some finer incense. One that I don't necessarily have to hand. 250 GP of incense.
Okay. I can provide that. Just don't question it. And I'll hand over the bag of refined blood crystal. I've got 400 GP left of that.
Okay. Arcana check for Ezera. Blood crystal. Good to see that it's still in use. That hasn't been lost at least.
What do you mean good? This thing is just... It's bad. So many are dying because of this.
Dying? Why are people dying for this? You can grow this quite easily from synthetics.
Oh, this was not grown on synthetics.
Wait,
This
you
is grown
mean
on living people?
So this is what they call the organic variety of blood crystal. Oh.
Yeah, we seized it from people that weren't doing good.
Right.
And I didn't want to let the sacrifices go in vain and planned to do good with it.
Okay. Well, that's troublesome, but well, I guess not everybody has the same understanding of it all. But okay. Well, at least it'll be put to good use now. Right. And you watch as he kind of sprinkles the blood crystal around the circle, and you watch as it begins to almost melt into the grooves of the circle itself, as it begins to infuse the area around. But instead of having his hands held up, you watch as they are almost anchored to the ground, as you watch as the magic begins to flow up from within and almost pulsing up and through him. You watch as there is a slight glow behind his eyes as he's kind of looking out almost in like a misty haze manner, and just begins to almost be given information as it begins to cycle through him. He actually has to make a roll for this one. Okay, that is a... It is... Spellcasting? Oh no, this is a investigation. Okay, that's not bad. Okay. As he begins to almost be given this information, you watch as the magic begins to fade, the blood crystal burning off into kind of these thin trails of smoke, as he just kind of breathes in for a moment. Well, Lota, Lady of Light, was a deity belonging to the celestial pantheon before my time. She existed some time ago, from what I've gathered, and by the sounds of it, she was fairly prominent around 350 or so. And that was kind of the height of her ministry. But she since hasn't received any devotion to her. Her origin is similar to that of Motalin's, being that of coming from Soliga. And she used to be a welcomed notion of happiness and, well, goodness for life. But something changed.
Okay. This uneasy feeling. It's like I can't shake the feeling that something changed. Is this okay? Okay. Then if that's all we've got for Lota, or what we've got for Lota, then the remaining two things are Psychania and the creature / corruption.
Right. With Psychania, I don't think I'm going to get anything, I'll be honest. Because, and don't take this the wrong way, either you nor Psychania, but she's not if she has a history, I won't be able to get it from her, because she's not in a state of application. If you're looking for me to divine this information, it's going to cost another, well, expensive amount.
Yeah, you've got other people you need to do stuff for, so we'll put a pin in that for the time being. So the creature,
Very
possible
well.
corruption.
I can do that. And as Ezera goes to beginning to perform the ritual once again, the incense burning in this moment, you watch as the circle below him kind of lights up with that prismatic energy before you watch as it begins to dull to that of a purple. And you watch as these small kind of ethereal eyes and mouths begin to open up below him, as they begin to look up and around him. With his arms outstretched in this moment, you watch as there's almost a straining in his arms, as almost if he's focusing on something. Before you watch as Isabel strikes the side of his head. Just kind of, not pointed wise, but flat, blunt trauma, just whacks the side of his head. and you watch as the spell ends, and you watch as almost this liquid of this ethereal pieces of the creature fall down and just fall into ash around him. It's a successful attack roll, so I need to do damage to Ezera. Okay, that's 14 points of damage to Ezera. He is back. That 5 healing that he gave himself earlier was enough to stop himself from going down this time. Ezera just kind of rubs the side of his head. Well, that was insightful. You see he kind of reaches down and grabs a small bit of paper and holds it up to you. I got something. What it means, I have no idea.
Okay. What the fuck does that mean? Sure. Alright.
AM gas 243.
Okay.
Oh, and to answer your question, Harlan, yes. You can speak to Ezera, and if there's something specific you want him to look into, he can potentially divine the information for it. Depending on what you're asking for, it may become expensive because it becomes a consumed component instead of anything else. As it stands, he... did I do the amount for that? No, I didn't. Okay. So he has the ability to do that 5 more times. If it's expensive, he has the ability to do it 3 times. But you'll need to pay the cost because he doesn't have the materials on hand.
Is he able to tell how expensive something's going to be beforehand?
Yes. If it's... So the basis of it
Okay.
is the information that he can give you is he can tap into the weave and pick up on, or the weave of magic and the ley lines, in order to pick out a prophecy based on the natural order of the things that are woven together, and he can do that for free, but it still requires the spell. If it's information about a specific individual or thing of importance, then it requires the use of a legend lore spell, which costs 250 GP of incense to use.
All right. In that case, Romulus has a couple things I'd like to ask about, and will determine price. Is it possible to... Does Ezera have the incense but just needs the monetary value, or...
He doesn't... So he has the incense, but burning through that amount of incense will prevent him from using his other divinational means. So if he gets the money for it, he can buy the incense later. It just means that order-wise he would do it last.
Right. Then I have 2 questions that I am looking for information on.
Kirv dies.
The first. Well, that answers one question.
Okay. So what were the questions?
No, that has nothing to do with the questions. So the 2 questions that I have are, what can you tell me about the Undying Lord?
Okay. That is something he could do for without using legend lore. He wouldn't be able to give you specific information. It would be more of a subtle thing, but...
That's fair. I would definitely like the free version where possible. But we'll see beyond what we get from that, how it develops. And the second thing, where can I run into one of the siblings with which I am competing? Like, guide me on the path.
Interesting. That he can do with the free one.
Yeah, thought as
Okay.
much. If it's possible to specifically have it be one that has a token, that would be great.
We'll have to see. I'll say for now, given the nature of it, we'll see if there's anything else that Ellie needed to look through, and then go from there.
Mm-hmm.
So, Ellie, as you're handed
That's
this,
fair. I'm happy
piece
to
of
take
paper.
minimal priority.
Yep, that's right.
Right. I will be logging on my computer.
Oh, it's gone.
We'll be back in a while.
I don't think there's anything unless if we don't use the last guardian legend law, then I'll use that for Sygenia. But like, I want other people to get the chance. 'Cause I don't want to burn his resources for.
Okay. If you have the monetary value, he can do Legend Law multiple times. It's if you don't have the monetary value for it.
I do.
So
I can do it one more, but I don't know if other people need.
I definitely don't. I definitely don't.
Well, if you have the monetary value for it, he can still do everything else happily. It's if you don't have
Yeah,
monetary value for it, then he can't use his free stuff.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
so
what I was saying. I don't
I'll
have
get
the
him to
monetary.
use. I'll get him to use Sygenia, and I'll burn the remainder of that
Okay.
stuff.
Okay. So he goes. So I'm looking for information on Sygenia.
If you could,
I'll do what I can.
please don't die.
And you watch as he begins to channel the Legend Lore spell, and in this moment you watch as the patterns of magic begin to glow and pulse vibrantly throughout the room in this almost wave-like manner, as you see he almost begins to kind of twist his head kind of from left to right before you watch as he opens his eyes. I didn't get anything regarding Sygenia, but I did about her original owner. Her original
You lot who this?
Her original owner is a individual who, from what I can tell, was working with an investigator at the Scry Tree, so we might be able to find more information there. The information was very veiled. Something's not letting it go through. I don't know why. This is a first for me to have this sort of thing blocked, which usually means that this information has been gathered before. And make a intelligence check for Ezera. That is a natural 20.
Ooh.
Ezera goes, is that... Hold on. May I? And kind of puts his hand out for the piece of paper that he gave you previously.
What the thingy Vegas whatever? Yeah. Yeah, that one.
Veangus 243. That 243. It's a log number. Veangus is what the log would be under. The investigator involved.
So it's not an anagram of 7K?
No.
Oh,
Okay.
I thought I was on something there.
No,
And-
you fool! It's even gaze.
And where would I
Spit.
find this?
That would be in the prophetic vault, or in the scry tree if we're lucky.
Okay.
I know the way there. That's one of my regular things that I would do when going to and from work. I would head to the scry tree and I would meet my investigator there.
Okay. Well, we probably need to fix that first, but
Probably best that we do, just in case that will give us access to whatever we need. But if this is a log number, then we know what we're looking for, which means we can retrieve the information from the vault without having to wade through potentially hundreds to thousands of previous prophetic readings, some of which will be about someone's cat.
Oh. Well,
Look, there were a surprising amount of prophecies to do with cats. I don't know why.
well, I mean, cats, they know, I guess. I don't know.
They're interesting. They were popular pets, but anyway.
And Ellie takes a second and just like looks dead seriously. I have got one last thing I need to ask.
Of course.
And this isn't for you to cast or anything like that.
Okay.
You said if we mess up this ritual, she'll get damaged or destroyed?
Yes. Repairing... Okay. This is, for all intents and purposes, repairing a soul. Which is why it can go poorly. I don't know how to repair a mortal soul, but I know how to stabilize a ritual, because I've had to do it before, for repairing a sentient soul. Or an artificial one, I should say. Like Isabel. There are 4 tiers of souls. There is non-sentient souls that you would find about the place. There's natural sentience, or natural souls, which are diffused throughout the weaves of magic and the ley lines. There's artificial souls, or artificial sentience, which are created by people of Zeka, or other nations. And there are mortal souls, which are the ones which we're born with, and ones that can be transferred between bodies. But in the information that I know, the only thing that I understood was that repairing a sentient soul, or a artificial soul, was the furthest research had gone in my time.
Okay.
I guess a better question, do any of the flying cities still exist?
I know that I've read about them in my backstory.
There's only one that exists.
Would I... Okay.
You know which one it is.
I can't remember what it's called. Oh, remember. I've come through a lot of... Is it the ones in the Empire, or is there another one? Is that the one in the Majocracy?
It's the one in the Majocracy. The ones in the Empire were gift fortresses, which have since, or Autuck fortresses, which have since teleported to the Astral Sea.
Okay, so, yeah, there's one in the Majocracy, but they're not friendly.
Well, if there's anywhere that might have information on how to repair a soul, they probably have it there, so... I guess if there's any mission that you're going to be doing after this, it might be a heist.
Oh, good. Okay. Well, the thing that I was asking about the Sicenia ordeal...
Yes.
If she gets broken, she is the only thing holding this creature back.
Then I guess we better get it correct. No pressure.
So if we mess this up, everyone dies.
And campaign 3 begins.
Way to trauma dump, Ellie.
Now, just to remind you of this, if we do nothing, eventually everyone dies anyway, because eventually she stops working. Like, it's either we do this chance now, or we definitely die later. So...
Wholeheartedly, I agree. But,
Yeah.
like, realistically, the way Ellie's currently looking at this is, if we fuck this up and it gets free, it has a ley line.
Yeah, so it happens quicker. I'm just saying, that honestly might not be the worst thing. I would much prefer to have everyone instantly be dead, rather than have this thing hunting people forever.
Valid.
It's alright,
Okay.
guys. We can all hide out in hell. We'll be fine.
Yeah.
For how long?
No, the thing is, we go to the abyss because A, food doesn't necessarily taste shit there, and two,
That's true.
there's infinite layers, so we just need to keep traveling.
Just have to
Whoa.
keep going down. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Good lord.
Oh man.
Well, yeah, then that was pretty much the end of the thing. I imagine that's probably when either Mortar or Romulus would probably walk in.
I'd say probably at this time, Mortar, Kirv, and I'll say Romulus, you're still whittling outside, but as Mortar and Kirv step in, looks like the next batch is up. So if you would like to, well, if you want to supervise to make sure Mortar doesn't try and jump on the circle, then that might be best.
You're funny, Ezera.
As Ellie walks out, so just hands up to Kirv. Tag, you're it.
I suppose I have signed up for this. Okay. And she, I guess, grabs Mortar by the arm and goes into the room.
Okay. As Ellie and Vinny, are you leaving as well, or are you staying in the room just in case?
Oh, I thought I'd left already.
Oh,
Yeah, Vinny,
okay.
I was going
Oh,
to
if
head
you
out
had,
to
then that's
Vinny
fine.
because we need to practice.
Okay.
Some stuff, so.
Alrighty.
All right.
Ezera looks up at you two as you make that comment, Kirv, and it's like, okay. So who first?
After you. I need to figure out how I'm going to word my question.
Okay.
Okay.
And you were just looking for your weapon to be understood?
Yeah. But as well, actually, while I remember, that prophecy thingy you said earlier.
Which one?
Mm,
I've said a lot of
Sorry,
prophecies
find it.
today. Do you mean my one? The one about
To do
the silent...
ashes smouldering.
Yes.
Did you ever figure out that last line?
Personally, no. I mean, Rel was badly damaged in the attack, but unless it's somehow related, I don't know. That would have been something for my investigator to do. If you want to check out Haley's room after this, or her study, she might have information on this, but otherwise, if any information was completed, it would be in the vaults at the moment, which we'd have to try and wade through and figure out which one is hers.
Understood. It is probably nothing. Probably already happened. Right.
Hopefully.
Murder. That's the name of my scythe, by the way.
Ah.
And she
I commit murder.
Wonderful name. And he just kind of gestures. Put it at the center of the circle for now. You can step on it until I start casting, at which point don't interfere. The wall of force closes behind you, leaving Filch and Eugene out on the dining table so they cannot interfere.
it's a crow pun, I think.
Oh, murder. Oh, right, because you have crows. Yes.
Kirv suddenly feels very pathetic. My life's a joke, isn't it?
As Ezera just kind of almost begins to burn this kind of bits of essence within his palms and kind of runs his hand, not over the weapon, but just kind of, it hovers over the top of it. As he, as you watch kind of these strands of prismatic energy just begin to almost coil around his arms, kind of gently, almost like touching the weapon. And as he kind of pulls his hand back, it seems to be full. It's hungry, but not hungry. Sorry, it's digesting.
It has a stomach.
I guess so. I mean, you put it in the tank of flesh earlier. Does it eat flesh?
I don't know. But when I put it in there, there's less flesh than there was to begin with. So
Maybe?
she
Well,
shrugs her shoulders.
your weapon is augmented, so it does grow as you do. So it's had its fill, and I guess it just needs time to prepare itself. I mean, after it's done that, and if you want to potentially learn what's next after that, you can come back, but I can't tell you for certain what it might want next, because right now I don't think it knows.
Right.
Sorry for not all that helpful, but it's
Hey, I
still
mean,
No
it
need to
might be worth-
apologize, man.
Is there anything we could ask about the whole Abyss situation that you were saying about? Like maybe there's some, I don't know, something they can magic up, or some answers or something, or some way to get out of it.
The Abyss?
Yeah. Yeah, that
What-
seems to be where I'm heading next.
What about it?
Look, I don't know how much of it all I'm supposed to be divulging. And you've got my respect, don't get me wrong.
I understand.
But it takes me a bit longer to trust people.
And when you say the Abyss, is this like a place, or...
Yes. Another plane.
Okay, there's no plane called the Abyss. Not to my knowledge, anyway.
Is it called something different in this world?
It's called the Pit, isn't it?
It's called the Pit.
Oh, fuck, sorry, have I been using the wrong term?
Yeah, that's alright.
No, I was going to say I use
It's
it
my
as well.
fault. I forget that we have different words for these things. Can we get like a key for the different words for things? Chris?
Honestly, there is sort of, but I still get confused.
I was going to say,
especially
I
as we're
believe
merging.
I shared it, but it's... I'll have to find the
Could you
document again.
pin it somewhere?
I'll find it. I might just resend it and pin it. I'll find it.
Appreciated. Not like this is 100% our own fault for not remembering, but I'm just stupid.
Actually, no, you know what? I'll send you the copy of it that I sent to my Wednesday group, because that one, I know that that one's up to date. So I don't have to potentially run across old versions of this. I'm just going to double check that it is actually, yeah, the Pit, Plane of Abomination.
Oh, was that the version where we called elves knife ears?
No?
Fuck.
That was campaign 1. And that was
the-
just Elsian. Anyway.
That's true.
The Pit, yeah, home to demons.
Oh, yes. It's not a nice place.
That's all you get.
Yeah,
And
I got that.
I don't think there's really much more we can say if you're kind of, unwilling to share the information. I don't really think there's much else.
I mean, I can tell you what I know about the Pit, if you want.
Hit me.
Pit you.
If you insist, punch.
Cast Disintegrate.
He doesn't have Disintegrate. I mean, he
Off to the
can...
pit you go.
He can...
He wishes he had disintegrate.
He wishes. He can try and punch you. Why is his to hit so high? Hold on.
You're kidding. Don't do it.
No, I'm not going to. I'm just curious. Oh, I got his...
Shot curve.
I got his his proficiency bonus is wrong. That's why it's so high for his punch. Everything else is alright. I just guess I forgot to do his attack. Oh yeah, I did.
Then again,
because
if he does hit me, he breaks the promise. The
No, that's
the
true.
deal.
That's true. He's not going to. The thing, I obviously forgot to change his action because right now he does 2d8 plus 3 slashing damage. It's like that's not right.
on a punch.
On a
Wow.
How
punch.
the fuck did you do that?
I just didn't change it from whatever previous monster I used the stat block for. So, well, what I know about the pit is that, one, it's not a very nice place. Two, it is what remains of the 8th plane, or the 8th layer of hell, that was strapped to the bottom of the 7 planes after they destroyed the 9th during a war between the demons and devils of the time. The devils now reign over the hells, the demons now reign over the pit, but the pit is otherwise attached to the 7th plane, which is the throne of Asmodeus. And the pit is generally just known as the plane of abomination. Most things that are horrific in nature end up there. It's a nasty place. It is also one of the few planes of or few planar domains that, in theory, never ends. There was one mage who tried to find the bottom of it, though. I don't know if he ever did. He may have just died.
Could still be going.
He
I'm
could
not
still
sure,
be
sorry.
going. Yeah, he could still be going. It's one of those that I don't know, and I don't know about him specifically. I might divine on him later. But for now, for the time being, I'd say don't go to the pit unless you have to. If for some reason you're in some form, I mean, you mentioned a patron and all that, I'm going to assume that you're from the hells, given your
Good guess.
understanding and stuff. If you're heading to the pit, that probably means that there's going to be some form of fight going on between the two. If that's happening again, be careful. The last one didn't end too well for a lot of individuals.
The last war.
Yes.
Was there a name for that war?
Roll a history check. That's cocked. Natural 20. Okay.
Oh.
Damn.
Jamie,
Damn, Ezera.
in your notes, did you make a note of the name of the war?
Who, me?
Yeah.
What's that?
The hemo confrontation?
I think that notebook might be my car. Hang on.
So I don't want to get the name wrong and then have to have Jamie change his notes on this, because this is related to stuff or a different character.
No, that is in my car, but it's nothing that's set in stone because it's just a scribbled note. So if you do change it, that's fine.
Okay. So for the time being, we will just call it by the D&D name,
with us now, Chris?
the War of Blood.
War of Blood.
The War of
Original
Blood.
character, do not steal.
But I will send you the official name if at a later date, once me and Jamie have had a look through his notes and stuff, we'll get the official name to you, just for consistency's sake.
Mm-hmm.
All you need to know is
So
that
the
it's not the War of Ashes.
Yeah.
It is the War of something else. I believe it's the War of Blood, or the War of Brimstone. It's one of the two.
War of Brimstone.
It was the War of Brimstone? Okay.
War of Brimstone. You said that as, yeah. Can I remember
So
it's
that
mentioned in
war-
one of the songs somewhere. But yeah,
Mhm.
War of Brimstone.
So that war ended in the devils taking over the hells
Yes.
and the demons inheriting
The Pit.
the pit.
Yes, which is basically the hollowed out version of the 8th layer.
Yes.
During the war, the demons went to war with the devils. They attacked Asmodeus' palace. They also attacked one of the other layers to try and, which was back then it was known as the Abominable layer. It was the 8th layer of hell, and in there the devils experimented with the demons and created various different strange creatures. Now that layer is known as the pit.
Now, this is an odd question, but hear me out. Did it have anything to do with geese?
As in, like, the birds?
Yes.
The ones on our plane aren't from that layer. Unless you mean, like... Do you mean hell geese?
Yes.
I mean... As far as the legends go regarding hell geese, there are 9 of them. One for each plane of one for each layer of hell. But now that 2 of those layers are destroyed, they're the wrong number, but that's not the point. There was 1 for each layer of the hells that was created. 1 for the 9 aspects of Asmodeus.
Legends surrounding hell geese?
Yes, there's only 9 of them. They have pieces of Asmodeus' power in them.
Oh shit.
Well, fuck me, I guess.
Suddenly everything
that's
becomes
very
a lot
bad.
more interesting.
That's very bad. Mortar doesn't have any clue what's going on.
The Helgies can defend themselves. They aren't exactly passive creatures.
Let's say that again. Can Kirv do like a check to see if she remembers like how many geese are on the farm?
Yeah, go for it. Make this a history check. That is a natural 1.
Yeah.
You never stopped to count them. You just made sure that they were. You just made sure that their small area or their pen was empty by the time you went to shove them all
Kirv
into
was so shit at her job.
There was probably at least 1.
There was probably at least 1.
I'll say no, because even if I give you advantage, you have disadvantage on this because of your exhaustion. No, you don't know.
I could use inspiration.
Yeah, you could. I'll allow you. You could use inspiration to re-roll this. Oh my word!
That is a nat 20.
That's a nat 20.
Oh,
Incredible.
From a
Suddenly,
nat,
you recall there were geese.
as you,
they weren't geese at all. They were ducks.
with a natural 20, I'll also give you the extra bit as well for this.
Oh.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
That's
So,
crazy. That was crazy.
I know. So, as you're kind of recalling this information, there's a bit of it which is like, oh, it's blank. You're not sure. You're just trying to recall, and you just remember seeing the same goose over and over again in your head. You're like, okay, no, focus. How many were there? There were 9 geese on the farm. You remember each of their names, and suddenly there's a realization that one of the geese didn't really have a name. It was kind of just the odd goose out. And as you're thinking about it, you realize that each of the geese is named after one letter of Asmodeus' name.
Fuck.
And you've lost the
Off.
O in Asmodeus.
Okay.
If you remember, that
Okay.
one's Aussie.
That's Aussie. Oh no. Okay. So why would they?
So we're left
Cut-
with Mad Sus E.
Mad sussy.
Look, it
So-
was the best I could come up with. I've literally had 30 seconds.
Mad Sussy. Yep.
Kirv kind of just like mumbling to herself, like, why would they only take 1 then? Or is it just the beginning?
Did they take one of these? I'd be scared for whoever took one of them.
Well, if it's a piece of the Asmodeus' soul,
Not soul, his power.
well, his power then.
It was part of the contract made between Celestials and Fiends during the early days when they both helped reconquer back during the Age of Arcania. Ancient history, really. 20-odd thousand years ago, wars took place, this place was weird, and magic was new. The Fiends and the Celestials banded together to stop the aberrational horrors that were conquering the world, thanks to Zildazar. Then they kind of came together and they made a deal that one of the Celestials would bestow their power upon Asmodeus. In exchange for that, Asmodeus would give up his power and seal it within 9 pieces, one for each hell, and then, provided he never reclaimed those pieces, he would continue to reign over the hells until the end of his days, which, as far as I'm aware, is never. So long as the 9 pieces remain intact, he remains the Lord of the Hells.
Oh, good lord.
So, okay, again, I'm not here. Sorry.
That's fine. If you want to ask a clarifying question, you're welcome to.
I really would, on a very simple basis. What happened? So it's so there is one piece that is Asmodeus, and the other 8 pieces are geese.
No. There is one
No, it
piece
was
that is
split.
Asmodeus, who has the power of a high celestial, and the other 9 pieces of his original power are sealed within 9 geese.
But there's only 8 letters in Asmodeus.
Yes, that's why one of them was given a weird name.
What's the weird name one called?
Make another history check, Kirv.
I rolled a nat 20.
I know you did.
Okay.
But I'm making you roll for me coming up with a name on the spot because I can't remember where I've put the document which has the name in it. And it's the only one which isn't tied to a letter, so...
History, right?
Yeah.
6.
6?
Yeah.
You believe it was it was... At some point they just gave up and called it number 9?
Number 9. Right.
This feels like somebody made an error in their planning.
Look, it was one piece for all of the 9 layers of hell. Asmodeus just happened to have only 8 letters in his name.
Maybe there's a
Asmodeus
silent K in there.
exclamation mark.
It's a silent K at the beginning. It's called Kevin. Alright.
Kevin Modeus.
Kevin Modeus. Don't use my legal name.
No shit.
So
If we call him Kevin Modeus, I think contractually we are obliged to just win the game if we survive that.
Survive the encounter calling him Kevin Modeus. Oh,
Yeah. If we succeed at that, I just think you should let us win, Chris.
You win D&D.
We
Yeah.
win D&D, yes.
Yeah.
We have
So
now
obviously we
found
all
the
know
condition for winning a game which is unwinnable.
Yeah. Obviously, we all know that the other goose's name is Barry. Because, of course, the Lord of Hell is a proper Essex geezer, Basmodeus.
Asmodeus.
Oh, Basmodeus. Fuck, I love it.
Oh my word. Anyway. Yeah, you're not entirely
So
sure.
if someone were to be collecting pieces, if they were trying to destroy them, that would compromise
It would
the
be
deal?
to a degree. I mean, it depends who tries to destroy them. If I don't know the dealings of the exact nature of it. All I know is that, as legend goes, the two of them, the two sides made a deal, and Asmodeus sealed away his power. If he ever reclaims them, then the deal is over. Whether that means that if the vessel is destroyed and he automatically regains it, or whether somebody else can claim it and they can use it, I don't know.
Theoretically, destroying them could cement his rule, or it could break it, or it could break the deal immediately. We're not. And I suppose there is the secondary question of if he ends up. What is the word I'm looking for? If he were to end up. If the powers were to unite, but he did not absorb them, or he was not the one to combine them, is there any potential that this would mean that there would be two Asmodeuses around?
Insight?
This is a
I'm starting to
terrifying think piece you've given us.
I'm starting to think I should have been paid more.
Yes, you are absolutely being taken for a mug.
Yes.
Can I ask a quick question? You said, so wait, somebody took a hell goose. A hell goose is a piece of Asmodeus. You need to be sent to the pit. Has a demon stolen a piece of Asmodeus?
I think probably the further you stay away from this thing, the better, Ezera. Really, it's a rabbit hole, for sure.
At the same time, the more information I have, if I can...
If you can.
Again, I'm not here, but I do have advice to provide.
Chris, I have it on a good source that your stream's cutting in and out.
Oh, is it? Am I losing frames?
Jay's just come in.
I'm not dropping any frames.
Oh, that's weird. Maybe it's Jay's internet then. And my. Sorry.
No, it's all right. It's sometimes it might just be like that. Sometimes Twitch is like that, especially after ads have just finished. So I think that might be why it's done that. Yeah.
Okay, no worries.
The more information I know, the more I can find out by otherwise looking into these bits and pieces of information. That tends to be how divination works. The more I know, the more focused the image gets. I'll step away from it, and I'll let you decide if you want to come back to me about any of this information, but know that the more I know, the more useful I can be to you. Just if you are looking for any information in the future. And if your patron is potentially looking for someone to provide them with information, there are deals that can be struck.
Interesting.
I will note, I am not the kind of person when it comes to deals for any beings such as very powerful ones, like archdevils, if that's still what they're calling themselves, then I tend not to strike any bargains with them. With ones such as yourself, I am more than amenable when it comes to coming to an agreement.
So essentially, being able to use Kirv as an intermediary to avoid the... I'm not here, sorry. I keep forgetting.
It's alright. But yes, in essence, you both get the idea that he's not willing to deal with anybody who has the literal power to drag him to hell, but he is willing to talk to an intermediary such as Kirv, who has the authority to make his ears burn for the rest of his life, which can be cured with some higher magic, in exchange for a little bit of
I didn't know I could do
working
that.
on the side. It's more of just the general nature of the expression.
Yeah.
You could inflict
Yeah.
minor curses with a deal in theory, provided you've got your patron involved as well.
Well, the truth is, I am not sure if it was a demon who took the goose, but I think it's with the demons now.
Right. Well, whatever the case may be, if you need information, feel free to ask. I'll provide what I can. And if you do end up going to the pit, I can't send you there. The Legate certainly can. But I can communicate with you while you're there if you want me to.
With information?
bit of both. So one of the things I can do is I can contact people between the domains. Think of it like a sending spell, but the sending spell can travel indefinitely across multiple domains. So I can communicate with you from here, effectively, and I can either feed you information that you might need, such as directions, or potentially just check up on your well-being and make sure none of you have turned into horrible blood-sucking demons. Not all demons suck blood, I know, it's just...
I was going to say...
Some of them do.
Is that a thing? I thought that was vampires.
Why do I hear Romulus?
He's standing
I'm listening
in
in at the doorway, obviously.
Right. And that's any plane?
In theory, yes. There isn't one that I haven't been able to contact yet.
Right. Well, I think that's everything for me for now. Mortar?
Yeah. There's a couple of things.
Should we...
First off, can you do sendings?
Not today.
Okay. Alright.
It's a Sunday. No sendings on a Sunday.
Oh shit. Right. Yeah, it's the unspoken rule. Completely forgot.
Yeah.
No post on Sundays.
I'll go. Well, I guess we'll. What about are you able to like spy on people? Like, if I'm able to describe them to you, are you able to like?
Describe?
Are you able to like scry? Yeah. That's what they call it. Yeah.
Let me double check. Do I have that prepared today? No, I don't. Not today. I can do it tomorrow after we finished our job. If they're in Zaka's above, in theory, I can.
All I know is that they've been following me for a long time. I want to know where they are.
Oh.
I don't know necessarily what they look like, but that's neither here nor there. Mortar will pull out Black Scorpion, spin it around a little bit, and kind of hold it out and just go.
Place it in the middle of the circle?
Just here?
Yep.
Okay. Mortar will put it down and step back. Yeah, you've already been given the warning about touching it and stuff, so...
Yep.
Careful.
I don't want to die, and what do you want to know?
I guess I want to know... its relationship to the atrocities.
Okay.
And the gods in which it has been used as a device to serve.
Alrighty. I'll do my best.
Yeah, we're from fucking everywhere.
Yeah.
As he casts the spell and begins to focus on this, you watch as the spell almost begins to draw out what look to be almost these long shadows that otherwise begin to crawl up almost this invisible wall against the edge of the circle. As he begins to focus and pull on this magic, you watch as it kind of snaps and disappears in that moment. Something was fighting me from being able to read into it too much.
Yeah, Mortar kind of grits his teeth, just frustrated.
I'll say this. In time, depending on what Alarandra asks for tomorrow, or in the future, I might be able to get back to you with more information. But for the time being, I don't think I'm quite powerful enough to do this. So get back to me in the future.
Yeah. Alright.
Or I'll get back to you in the future when I feel like I'm willing to give it another go. As for other information about your weapon...
Also, I can read between the lines with that one, so he's kind of like, oh, okay, alright, yeah, contact later.
One thing that I can do, though, or I did find out, the nature of the weapon that you have. Much like, well, Kirv's is full, yours is hungry. Yours seems to want some form of powerful psionic energy.
Okay.
It needs a source of it to grow.
Did I feed it some of mine? I'm pretty good with psionics.
By the feel of it, it wants a specific taste for something.
Oh, fussy eater.
Yeah, something of a pure caliber, from what I gathered.
Yeah. I mean, I destroyed some beads. That was kind of an artifact, and it was like, you know, they kind of exploded.
A creature
I didn't see any.
of some form.
A creature, a psionic creature.
Yes, a person or creature or something. If something's following you, they might just want that. Is the thing that's following you psionic?
I don't really know. All I know is that it knows where I am, and it has known for a long, long time.
That could be.
I think my last question. We'll leave that for now. My last question is, I want to know a little more about the history of the Majorocracy, or specifically the Plains of Desolation. I want to know what you know about its ruler, and if its ruler has changed over the years and some history. I want to see if it correlates with what I know.
The Plains of Desolation were created maybe 500 years before I was born. They were a byproduct by the city, by one of the cities being erected there. It drew too much magic out and destroyed the area around it. The Plains of Desolation is now a desert for the most part. As for the Majorocracy, I don't know, given the time difference, but I mean, it used to be part of Zeka's territory. It was part of the Paleo Communion.
I don't know what that is.
Well, Paleo, the capital to the north of here, was the main hub for it, and they were on the border from the northern regions, and we extended far to the east, away from the Holy Royal Empire that were to the west of us, or are to the west of us. Sorry.
Oh, all right. That's not really what I'm looking for, but I appreciate the effort though.
You mentioned about a ruler,
I
though,
guess.
a person in charge.
It's not important. Don't worry.
Okay.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
I mean, I'm interested.
In the Plains of Desolation?
Kirv kind of looks to Mortar for like a, is this okay?
Mortar will nod.
It's an entire area of black sand. Magic was drawn out of it, caused some large issues. Various creatures of a kind of aberrational nature began to exist there. Yeah, it's...
When you say aberrational?
Augmented. Multiple pieces, usually alien in design. Think like...
bad. Think really bad.
Yeah, do you know what...
I'm from hell and you're asking me to think really bad?
Yeah.
How...
Right then.
Do Abaredis still exist?
Abba ready,
There's a lot
set,
of them.
go.
Oh.
Not my finest.
How many hit points does Kirv have?
I'm not telling you.
Okay. You take
No, I don't. It's my birthday. I don't take any damage.
You take 18
Please.
points of health loss.
I don't.
No.
Birthday beats.
Ugh.
Oh man, that's
Yeah, birthday beats on
hate birthday
Kirv.
beats.
Now it's 1 hit point for every year.
No.
Oh.
25? Oh yeah, I like the sound of that.
Ah.
Is Kirv
Now,
down?
see, it's funny that Jamie was like, yeah, to that.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's fine. I've got plenty.
Until we get to campaign 3, and then you're going to take a lot more damage.
No, if we're gonna work off our characters' age, then campaign 3 are fucked.
This is why I'm
Spoilers.
gonna play a little Pinocchio. Yee-hee-hee. I'm a little fucked up puppet.
Hate that.
Yeah.
Look, it's
Agreed.
not set in stone, but it is an option.
No, it isn't. Stop it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I
Hee-hee.
think
I'm a cursed little haunted dog.
I think the ruler of that area. I think he goes by the Jackal. I think.
Rings a
Yeah.
bell. I might be able to search the library and find information on this individual.
Mortar looked curved. Since you're interested.
Okay.
Excuse me a minute. Mortar will step out. He's going to see if he can find Ellie, just briefly. Ellie, you have a minute?
She's looking at her notes and pointing something to Vinny. Yeah? What's up?
Mortar looks visibly a little bit shaken. Do you have sending prepared? Do you have sending prepared, sir?
Give me 1 second. I always have sending prepared because I can't unprepare it. So yes.
Would you be able to send a sending for me?
We can try, but we are in Zakers. I don't know if they go out of the area, but I'm willing to give it a shot.
Thank you. Thank you. I need you to send it to. Need you to send it to someone called Rita. She's an older woman. Mortar will proceed to describe an elderly. Well, he can imagine, like he's trying to picture how she was over 20 odd years ago. She's probably now in her 80s. She's a human woman, whitish hair, kind of scarred, and he'll try to describe her to the best of his recollection.
I believe Mortar has told us about Rita before.
Yeah, I believe.
Mother figure.
I
Yeah.
vaguely remember.
He's told her. Yeah, he's definitely mentioned that before.
Okay. You have 25 words.
Okay.
And it'll also say, just to say, when I get Sychenia back, I can also scry if you ever need me to.
I think that if I don't get a reply back, I don't think I want to know what's on the other end of that scry.
That's fair.
Mortar will kind of think for a minute and we'll go, Rita, it's Sahib. I know it's been a while but I made it. I've got friends now. I miss you.
5 words left.
Yeah, I'm counting as well. I will come back. And Mortar will end it there.
Okay.
Okay.
Then I will
You say
attempt to try and send that.
you say the sending. There is almost a slight static and then no reply. The sending did not send.
Okay, I know it didn't send. It wasn't that there was no one at the other end.
Correct.
Okay.
Mortar's just waiting
Well-
in anticipation.
Well, I tried, but while we're in Zaka's, I can't send messages out. But as soon as we exit this place, I will try again.
Again, I do think they should all send off like when you send a load of texts and then you suddenly get signal and they all go through at once.
God. She just gets bombarded with multiple attempts of the same message. But I promise, when we get out, I will try again. Obviously, with you with me, and if we get a reply, you'll be the first to know.
Mortar will give Emily a hug. Say thank you. That means a lot.
She's kind of taken back by that's the first time Mortar's kind of initiated the hug. She definitely
Yeah.
leans into it.
Yeah, he holds her tight. There's definitely a little tremor kind of in his body of kind of that just kind of general anxiety, which just from the day's events and everything that's happened today, the good, the very good, and the bad. And it's all just kind of culminated in just this moment of fuck. Like, I think that, I mean, Mortar's not hard to read in this kind of moment, and I think that you get the idea that he's feeling incredibly guilty that he hasn't reached out sooner, and that it's taken this to really turn around and try to face what's behind him and actually reach out to this person who he seems to care about a lot. He'll kind of detach himself and kind of nod, and without making eye contact, make his way back to Kirv.
So, what are your hobbies, Ezera?
Well, most
and
of
she's
my
been left with him.
yeah, with Mortar's gun just sat at the middle of the of the
Yeah.
summit of the circle.
Oh my lord.
He's just kind of sat there and just like cross-legged, the gun just sat in the middle of the circle and just waiting for Mortar to come back. Just hearing this conversation from the other room. Well, for the most part, my hobbies include painting some, well, just painting, really. As well as I don't have too many friends. I walk the neighbors' pets through the parks, and I spend quite a lot of time reading and sometimes writing. But outside of that, most of it's work. So, yeah.
It must be rough knowing that all your friends are very likely long dead.
God.
I mean, does it not hurt you to know that all of your friends are in hell and are probably never going to escape?
Fuck.
You assume I
Hell.
have friends in hell.
Ooh, self-burn. Those are rare.
The other 8 gooses.
Well, I suppose so. But you must have family.
Yes. But they don't know any better. They haven't seen what it's like anywhere else. I think that's a rare blessing.
Thought that it's so much better here.
That they don't know what they might be missing.
So what you're saying is you'd rather leave your family in hell because they don't know what it's like in a better world?
Fucking hell.
Mortar will stop outside, just kind of not wanting to interrupt, just listen.
I'd take more offense to that if I wasn't a little chuffed that you assume I'd have the power to do anything about it.
I mean, you made it to the material plane. And given that your patron has the ability to send you to the abyss, I imagine that means that they might also have the ability to send the rest of your friends and family. There's always a way. It's just a matter of who the right people are. And to answer your question, yes, it does make me a little bit sad to know that all of my friends and family and loved ones are dead. But at the same time, I got to live. So now I get to try and bestow the gifts of Zakers upon those who don't know them. I get the chance to give people the life they never had. To help people. To provide information to those who need it. Ellie's mentioned her grandfather is interested by this. If that's the case and he's a powerful individual, then he'll know how to use this magic correctly, I imagine. I'll be able to judge his character through talking with him, and I imagine if he's the right person, I'll be able to relinquish the secrets of eons lost. Magic will be restored to this world in the way that it previously was. Individuals won't suffer physical or mental illness. People aren't just going to die from old age. People can live as long as they need to. People can be purified of any illness they might have. And people will be able to be brought away from disasters that naturally occur due to the ill nature of some mortals or immortals, and hopefully rescued from the inevitabilities of life. There is
It's one
always...
hell of a dream, Ezera. It's one hell of a dream.
It's what it was like when I was
Can't
alive.
wait to see it happen. Yeah, well, I can't wait for you to bring it all back, so everyone here who's suffered in the absence of all of this great knowledge can live the way Zakers did back in the day.
I mean, I hope that that's a possibility. I mean, if you're still alive and around to see it, I mean, your arm and leg could be returned. If you want them.
Nah. They're a reminder of where I messed up and where I won't mess up again.
I understand.
I'm not worried about backtracking and taking steps backwards now. I want to look to the future.
If that's the case, you're right,
Hopefully.
picking your gun up from the circle.
Yeah, sure. I thought you wanted it there, left there, but no worries. Mortar will kind of click his fingers and it will appear back in his hand. He'll spin it, put it back in his holster.
Ezera stands. Well, I'm spent, so if everyone wants to get some rest, we'll continue on with this tomorrow.
You're looking a little little fucked up there, Ezera. You doing all right? Your arms are looking a little longer than usual.
I'm sure they'll buff out. Things didn't go as planned, shall we say, with some of Ellie's bits of information and Vinny's too. Something about a weird worm thing in his head, and a god who's now in control of where I used to wander and pick up answers of the past, present, and future. And now I have to talk to them.
Going back to what you said, the worm thing inside Vinny's head, would that count as a creature of great psionic potential?
Maybe. From what I could tell, it didn't
Noted.
seem psionic. It just seemed to be cognitive.
Okay.
It existed within his
Well-
head, but isn't necessarily a possessor of psionic abilities.
Okay, so
Or if it is, it didn't
I
display
mean,
them.
worst
Comes to
worst case scenario. I was going to say worst case scenario is we go in there, we kill it, and then Vinny doesn't have to worry about that thing roaming around in his head. Happy days. If it is also psionic, happy days. I get a little upgrade.
Yeah, that's true.
So
And I mean, the rest of you as well could have yours removed. So,
sorry, what?
the rest of your worms. Points to his head.
What do you mean? We have worms in our heads.
Ah. Vinny. He calls out of the room.
You're being metaphorical, right?
Apologies, Ellie. I'll be back in a moment. And
Guys,
Vinny will pop his head through.
Mortar's going to call for
Everything all right?
everybody. Guys, can you come in here a sec?
I didn't
Yeah.
realize you all didn't know this.
What?
All of you, with the exception of Beau, have worms in your heads? The same one that Vinny has?
Just to confirm, is this a physical worm or is it like a mental
You remember?
or
You
magical
remember the
worm?
worm? You remember the worm we went in there and fought in his brain?
Vaguely, yes.
Yeah, one of those.
How?
Absolutely fucking disgusting. But again, is there a physical worm in there or is it like a mind worm?
Cognitive, so mental. And as for how, I don't know. I just assumed you all knew. And that is where we're going to end our session for
No.
today.
I like how none of my questions were even considered.
It is 11:45. We will get to them next time. And also, he's run out of spell points. He can't do any more divining.
Wow.
Well, that's a nightmare.
He did a lot.
Because
So,
I needed more stuff in my head.
So,
Mm.
thank
Play
you.
them off against each other.
I'm gonna roll on it. Now that I know it's there, brother,
I think
ready
that's what-
for a fight.
I think that's what my two personalities are all fighting at the minute.
Yes, it is.
Might be
Oh
fighting that bit.
no!
Fucked. Yeah,
Oh
there it
my
is.
Gosh.
That's what snaps off fighting. And Ellie,
Yeah.
there's a reason the creature's been abnormally quiet for an extended period of time.
So did this thing infect us when we went inside the brain?
Yeah, presumably.
You don't know. Either way, thank you everyone for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. And we'll see where this all gets to next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
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 Aye.